guys.
Hey, TPK, how's it going? Oh man, I hope we didn't suddenly go live.
I saw Magic's face and I knew, and I was just like, they're gonna keep going. They're gonna keep having this combo.
I was too involved in it.
We're back in full stride, guys. Like when we open with that candid stuff, we know it's gonna be a good day at TPK Roleplay. Hi, everybody. I'm that Magic Juice. I'm something of a shepherd, but clearly, I don't know. Am I doing a good job? Or
you're doing a fantastic
You guys
job.
decide. This is my lovely Clouder. We have a fun time together, and I've missed all 5 of you, as well as everybody who hangs out all the time with us. So I'm just going to let you guys introduce yourselves real quick, and we'll do a short recap and get right into it, because this has already been like a ton of roleplay, character development, WTF is going on stuff, and spoiler alert, there's more coming. So, Heck, who are you?
Hey guys, it's me, Sir Heckolite. I will be playing Aster, the Shifter Druid, Circle of Wildfire. Y'all can't get me with these cold opens because I'm part of TPR. I've been doing this way longer. It's not gonna happen. But I realized I just put a massive target on my back. It's fine. It's all good. We're just gonna keep moving on. Let's just move on.
Oh, I got a +2. Heyo.
So, hi, I'm Niffer, and I can definitely get with every single cold open because I'm too ADHD to care. But I don't care because it's funny and it brings all of us a lot of joy. I am playing Eliseo, the Aasimar time wizard, who just loves their wife so much. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, right?
Hiya, it's me, Hyacinth, and yeah, I get got a lot because I just what is my reason for it?
You like to talk.
Because you're you.
And that's okay, and we love it.
I'm also very gullible, so that might play in too. I am the most recent in the Clouder to have my own Clouder, as I have adopted a kitten, and I'm just very proud of it, so I tell everyone. I'm a dad now. But I am the Elven Bardlock that is twin number 1.
Hey everyone, it's me, Corndog, twin number 1. I am playing Juno, the Elvish cleric. There we go.
Which character am I today?
I got to it. I had to listen to like so much happy, good vibes music today and love songs all day because last night was a train wreck.
I saw a lot of that, and holy cats, Curse of Strahd is like shout out to Last HP for doing such a good job with running it too, and all the characters for getting all into it.
Yeah, we're all falling apart.
We could have a full TPR about it.
Yep, but I'm very excited to be in a campaign where I get to love my spouse.
I'm so
instigate
glad
stuff between them. Yeah, I'm so glad. I messaged Niffer earlier. Was like, I'm so glad we get to be in love today.
I'm glad we're not fighting.
So, I'm excited to make my relationship with my spouse stronger, figure out what's going on with my brother, and also help the next person to go in this order find their shadow.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Chrissy. I'm going to play Ulta, our Swarm Keeper Ranger. I'm also going to hope that my internet stays connected.
We will do our best to work with that if it becomes an issue. Even if that means, Chrissy, now that I'm thinking about it, just as a backup plan, if Discord ends up being necessary and we have to go without video just so we can at least get audio, we can do that as a backup plan. Okay, so in our last session, it's going to seem like there's not a whole lot to recap, but I'm going to lean on you guys for some of the details for anything that you found particularly potent, important, things you want to follow up on of that nature. But I'm going to do the higher level view of the recap for last session. So we came in finishing off what ended up becoming a fight between you guys and a small group of what you recognized as dragon cultists. that had one disabled cart out of 3 in total on their way west along this road, which we can see, right? I should zoom in a little bit. You guys had originally gone off by boat supplied by the factions collectively to you, knowing that the road was an option. And even though you went by boat, you came to a point that it was close enough to the road, and that point happened to be occupied by this group. So they were sort of like figuring out, transferring / tending to one broken cart so that they could continue on their way from Elturel westward toward Baldur's Gate with their cargo, which you understand is a sort of focal point of travel for the Dragon Cult from multiple places at the same time, going somewhere else. But Baldur's Gate is the focal point. So you decided to just gung-ho attack them, and then we came in last session with you deciding to ease up enough to try and get a little bit more information if you could. Eliseo recognized a couple of them, and they recognized Eliseo.
Just one big Spider-Man meme. Like,
which is a sort of like growing realization for at least you, Eliseo, that you're recognizable by certain people within the Dragon Cult, and everybody can take that how they will. You decide to let a few of them go in another bout of mercy, which is becoming characteristic of this group. So I think that's noteworthy. And you like send them off with a couple of small, relative to the whole at least, small sets of like survivables, a crate of money, which by itself was certainly not small, but again, compared to everything that you guys have now, is tiny. You have taken their robes, their cloaks that you were able to identify them as Dragon Cult by. And we had a little bit of tailoring going on, right? With Icarus, as well as some driving lessons. Okay. And then within all of that for the next half day of travel after that, just a lot of role-playing, character interaction, character development, and I cannot do it justice to envelop all of that in a short recap. So at this point, you have I think you've completed a long rest overnight. Is that correct? I know you at least started it.
Yeah, we were completing it because it was like the night was finishing as we were having our deep conversations of, have you ever experienced like?
That was it.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I've got notes and I've got questions.
Awesome. So we're coming into dawn of the next day. As you understand it, it's going to be about a day, maybe a little bit less of travel to get to Baldur's Gate from this point by cart. You're split between 2 carts, and they are full. So like imagine that 3 carts were like 2 capacity or almost 2 capacity with cargo, and Ulta found that, after a couple barrels and crates, like they are stuffed to the brim with gems, precious stones, valuables, and emphasis on gold. So you are like full to the brim between the 5 of you and the cargo that you have for 2 carts. So we will come in with you guys starting out. What would you like to do?
I should also note that we made Ulta cultist robes. That was something that
That's the
happened right at the
tailoring,
end.
yeah.
We tailored some cultist robes for Ulta.
Yes.
So that way she would also look as cool as we did.
Well, we're still in a cult. It's not that cool.
I mean, we have
fun-
starched black robes, so this is my vibe.
I have a
Okay,
fun
you're
but
right.
maybe not great idea. I'd like to try to make a rope bridge to put between the 2 carts to walk back and forth as we ride.
I am suspending your driving permit.
You
I'm
want
not
to
entirely sure that's a good idea.
rope bridge between the 2 carts?
Yeah, like if they're going side by side, there's like a little bridge between them,
Or, you could just footloose it and put a foot on either side and hope for the best.
Okay, I'm not going to say no, but
I'd
The
like to
rest
say
of the
I pull
party
out
is gonna
rope
say no instead.
like I think that I start pulling out rope and like tying some knots, and then someone comes over. Someone comes over and they're like, "No, just not a great idea." And I'm like,
Not a good idea.
So
If they're
you
connected and one goes off, that could end very, very badly.
That-
That's probably, I bet that's what the cultists did and why their cart was broken.
that and the fact that so we did state this before. I'll just put it out there as a reminder. The road is like just barely wide enough for carts to pass by each other single file going different directions. So like continuously going next to each other one direction, you would know might not be the most reasonable.
Got
and if
that
we did, you
table.
could definitely do 1 foot on both.
Oh, I have a bad
We
table.
did get a bad
Hello.
table.
Got a
Okay,
bad
I
So
do
that
have those
reminds
pulled
me-
up if you need me to.
Oh, perfect. And Chrissy, I forgot to ask for the others. If you don't mind, I'm really sorry.
Done and done.
Thank you. So Aster, before we really get into it, you are at some point you're gonna like fumble around in your belongings, like as you're putting everything on carts and stuff, and you notice a small pouch in your bag that you're not really sure how it got there. It hasn't been there before. Maybe Ulta was fumbling around with stuff and it like fell out of one of the crates or whatever. But you reach into it and you grab a small ball of it feels like fur.
Is this what I think it is?
Probably, but Aster
Or
doesn't
new
know.
pets.
Did the magic
No more
item
pets.
become a new pet?
No, if this is a bag of things, I'm going to be very happy.
Bag
A bag
of
of
tricks,
tricks.
bag of
Oh my
tricks,
god.
bag
Is
of
it? I don't know.
tricks.
Okay, can I discern what this is, like, at all? Is that something that she can do?
You can make an Arcana check or try to do something with it.
Okay, let's just kind of take a look at it and see if, like, Christina will do anything. Because that's the first thing she would probably... Natural one.
Starting us off strong
Oh,
tonight.
God.
Here we go.
Coming in hot.
Ooh.
This is going great. This
What
is
a
Yeah.
great day.
This is, yep.
Yeah, you have no. That was an Arcana check, right?
Yeah, Okay.
You have no idea.
this is very strange. Okay, wherever I am, okay, like if like we're still riding in the cart or something, or if I'm in the cart, I just want to put it like on the floor of the cart and just kind of like see if it does anything.
Okay. Watching it for a minute or two, it doesn't really do anything on its own. It's just a mundane bag, for all you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pick it back up. I look in. Like, have I looked in the bag yet? Is that what the ball of fur was, or was that the bag itself?
Sorry, the ball of fur was inside the bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Just
it a
gonna
bag?
hold on to it for now, I guess.
Just throw it. What's the worst that happens?
Not yet. See, I as a player know what this is.
What
But
if it's a bag of
don't-
rats?
It could be a bag.
Don't say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, like I would be okay with a bag
Rats
of
are
rats.
great.
Um,
Okay.
But okay, I will add a bag of fur balls to my inventory, I guess. For now.
Also, I'm going to preemptively thank Mr. Saito for donating that magic item to Aster last time.
Thank you,
It's
Saito.
so it is the magic item.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, yeah.
Doesn't mean
this
it's good or
is
bad.
one of
We don't
my
even know.
favorite magic items throughout 5e.
Also mine. Like, it goes deck of many things and then bag of tricks, like right there.
Can we call it Louis Vuitton?
That's
out.
pretty good. I'm on board.
That's very good.
Actually, my players came up with that in my game, so
Oh.
I can't take credit.
Awesome.
Yeah, she'll figure out what this is later.
Okay. So you have a day of travel ahead of you. So just to kickstart things, like you have whatever you want to talk about, which I know is really open-ended, but you've also got like if you want to work on anything. 2 people need to be actively involved at any given time because there's 2 carts with driving, so to speak. and you can split that however you guys choose, just like watches. But I will actually, I'm gonna take a brief pause to iterate for our audience, both here and on YouTube, in case you haven't caught it by now, or if you're new. This campaign actually has a lot of downtime, and we're sort of trying to go middle ground with not just cutting it out because it's boring for some people, but also not like playing every single hour of every single day, because that would become hella cumbersome. So we're doing this, we're experimenting with some custom mechanics of downtime activities. And I specifically asked for some more than brand new experience level players for this campaign. And this is part of the reason, because there's going to be a lot of role play opportunity, a lot of downtime opportunity for character development and things we want to do in this slightly more open world than usual for D&D. So coming back to it, with that in mind, is there anything in particular you guys would like to do for this? Well, let's just say even the first half of this day.
Aster is totally fine to take up at least the first part of the driving, if that's cool.
I will assist Aster with that. I'll
Okay.
take
I
up the
think you're in the
seat.
cart with the twins.
Oh, that's
I thought it
right.
was Aster and
That's
Eliseo
right.
in a cart. Yeah.
You're right. Then
Spoiler
I'll-
alert, I'm not going to be picky about it. So if you guys want to arrange a certain way because you want to do or talk about stuff, I'm cool with
I
that.
want to change to the other van.
Every
Oh.
pee break, we all switch it up.
Are
Yeah.
we there yet?
I want to sit in the back.
I will turn this cart around, so help me, Chris.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
mean, if we're
got
switching
Aster driving.
around, Ulta would probably hop over just to chat with Aster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm looking
You
at
would
spells.
prefer
I
to
should have
do.
done this before, but I'm trying to see if there's any way that I can ask my deity about who this Corey person is that my twin brother is friends with and has a crush on.
At your level,
Because-
there is no way to. Well, okay.
Yeah, there's no commune or
Take-
anything like that yet, so.
Take this as literally as you can. There is no as written in D&D 5th edition mechanic that you can say, I contact my deity and it happens, like
Yeah.
for sure, and you know it. That's not to say we couldn't make it happen. But yes, as of right now, like you could make any level of attempt that you would like. And then depending on what you do, how skill checks happen in a certain thing.
I just want to
It
know who
might
the
happen.
F Corey is.
You could
Who's
craft
Corey?
a ritual.
Where is he? Is he in the house?
Who's Corey? What's Corey?
Why is Corey?
Why is Corey?
No one ever asked how is Corey.
No one ever asks.
Oops.
I'm gonna volunteer Eliseo to drive because I got my permit revoked.
Excuse you.
Oh, that's right.
Aster is driving my vehicle, and you're not allowed in mine.
Oh, so it's just me and Juno then.
Yeah, I'm letting you drive in the middle. I'm gonna do the takeoffs and landings and let you be the person on cruise control.
I hold it straight. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
You're not
I'm not
allowed
very
to
good at
turn.
that.
Yeah, when turns come up, I slide over and grab the reins.
Okay.
Love this so much.
Um,
You're over
and then I'll
200
just ask.
years old, and we're teaching you to drive.
Yeah, and then I'll just ask about like, who's Corey? How long have you known Corey? What do they look like? And just try to get the details from my brother about everything related to Corey. Very intrusive, very like, I've known you for 200 years. I'm not going to beat around the bush and try to make this a pleasant conversation.
Love it.
And then when I give an answer you don't like, forehead to forehead.
Yeah, just smashing heads the whole time. Everyone looks over at us and is like, what are they doing?
Okay, so let's if you're up for that, let's have you guys talk about that, and then we'll come out to Aster and Ulta having a chat. It sounds like, and then Eliseo, I'm sure will, don't take this the wrong way, insert themselves as they deem fit with any conversation.
Yep. I do want to be like crafting in the backseat, I guess, mostly.
Okay.
So y'all chat and I'll snark if I need to. But I'm working on spells, y'all. It's important.
Yeah, so I just start asking my brother some questions just about Corey. How did you two meet?
Well, I mean, Corey's been around as long as I can remember. I mean, we played together a lot when we were young. Maybe like, playing age young. I don't remember when I met him per se. Yeah. I mean, do you remember that far back?
Yes.
But like Corey was the only one that really played with me, so that's kind of all I remember is like hanging out with Corey rather than anyone else really.
What about me?
You had real friends too.
Shit.
Oh.
You're not wrong.
When you were
Dude.
home.
Yeah, I was away a lot.
I mean, I'm not gonna act like I'm your only friend, but I'm the one you can't escape.
These are fair and valid points. As I'm staring at my brother, I am gonna be a jerk, and I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth on him.
Ooh.
That's a charisma save, isn't it?
It is.
Let me pull it up. I will.
Baby, I'm a bard.
I
So-
don't care.
Oh.
The dice might not like you.
Yeah, they didn't like me. So.
Because of other conversations I've had with the DMs and other games I play in outside of this group, we should clarify something about this because we've sort of bled the lines on how to operate this sort of mechanic where saves have to happen. So we have played it before where you can just choose to fail rather than attempt to save and see what happens. But I want to run the proposition by you guys that maybe should only really apply if you know it's coming and from
think
an
that's fair.
ally.
I think he would know it's coming because there are verbal and somatic components, and he's seen me cast it before.
That is fair.
So,
So
it's just like me like waving my hands, being like, "You're not gonna lie to me today." And just like he knows it's coming. It's meant to be as like we're gonna be in this zone talking to each other one-on-one.
sure. So
Not meant to be like emotional manipulation. It's just like I want to have a hard conversation. It's gonna get weird.
Yeah. So Icarus, with that being the case, because it's not only an ally but your sibling, and you can see it coming, we'll still give you the choice to just auto fail or attempt to succeed, and go from there.
I would like to attempt to succeed just because you're spiting me by casting. I'm going to spite you for casting a spell on me instead of just asking me.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
Oh boy, that's a 23.
Ooh.
Okay.
17 plus 6. Oh, plus 7. 24.
So Juno, you know that he saved.
Yep.
And I'm just going to follow up with, but why would I even lie? You didn't need to do that.
I know. I just wanted to make doubly sure.
I mean, if you want to waste another spell slot, I could choose to fail it this time.
Well, no, but also, I feel like we've known each other for 200 years, and you're just now telling me about this person who's been with you since we were kids.
Not true. I have told you about him before. Remember? I said you should
right.
know of him, but you haven't
Yep.
met him.
Yep, that's what it was.
Maybe you tuned it out because it was my other friend, but I don't know. You do you, boo.
I don't need the sass right now. You can take that down 3 notches.
Okay.
Is Corey magical? Do you believe that they possess magical powers?
I don't think so. I've never really thought about it.
How did Corey get into our grove?
I mean, if you and I are magical, I guess they could be. I assumed he lived there. I've never been to his house or anything, but he was always around.
Does Corey appear elvish?
Yeah. Or half elvish, maybe? I don't know. Probably elvish.
Is he cute?
I mean, I think so.
Okay. What's inspiring you now to start pursuing this?
So, like, when we were in the Grove, I would, like, see him a lot, and, like, I'd have that time to interact, but I feel like now it's, like, present because I don't see him, so I'm, like, thinking about him more, you know? It's like, when something's gone, you're, like, reflective on it.
Yeah, you become aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Is this a satisfactory?
I'm also gonna have to rewatch this episode so I can take all these notes, because I try to take notes and it's just sentences just end. I definitely think this is something you should pursue if you're excited about it. But I have not been able to reach them when I've attempted to send messages to people.
That's right. We were talking about what that means, and it's either dead or on another plane, or there's like a few like loopholes for that, isn't there?
There are.
Being dead is one of them.
Which I clearly hope that's not the case. That would be very traumatizing,
well,
right?
In any way unconscious, at least. Like, use that as
Okay.
a blanket statement.
Yeah, it's dead or unconscious. I can talk to people on other planes.
But like you knew they didn't just choose not to respond, but they weren't able to.
The message had no one to anchor to. Like, it just went out. It's not that it's not that my message was left unread. It's
So
that
it was like returned.
it never even
like,
sent.
It got like mailed back. Oh, okay. Return to sender is what I was gonna say, but that makes sense too.
Yeah, it's just kind of stuck in my inbox and won't go because there's no.
You sure it's not a problem with your cellular reception then?
It's not.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you should like figure out some of your magic stuff then, and then we can like figure that out. Because I don't really know how your stuff works, you know.
That's actually an interesting point that I want to touch on really quick. So Icarus, your magic is a mix, right? You've got Bard, Warlock.
Both
Did you
are
have a
arcane
third?
in nature. Nope. Bard
Okay.
and Warlock, and I think both are technically arcane in nature.
They are. Juno's got full cleric, so you've got divine. Eliseo's
Then you got two nature casters too.
Yep, then you got two nature between Aster and Ulta, and then the
I'm
lone
wizard
wizard
here. What up?
is the like full arcane caster in the group, like by study type of background. So
I earned this magic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, mine's like arcane by gift.
I prayed really hard. That's like studying.
So
Love you, but like,
Icarus, I don't want to derail the conversation, but I just want to point out how much I appreciate between this group, how much that actually reigns true. Like, your magic is different. It seems like a very simple statement, but it has a lot of depth to it.
And that's why I'm trying to like figure it out in characters, because like I feel like my magic should be like hers, but it's not really.
That is an awesome character trait for you. I feel like that, like I said, it brings attention to the depth of where magic comes from in this world. It's not all the same place. So it's
like,
interesting.
During this conversation, unlike the one before, he was like, how do you pray? You could see him like taking mental notes, as in like just trying to compare or like figure it out for himself too, because that's kind of like what we've talked about is his ultimate goal.
Right.
So
Okay. Well, we should sort this out. I can try sending another message later if we don't need more spells throughout the day, but
can we do like one of those ritual pray things that you do?
I mean, we can try, but it doesn't always add up to anything. Most of the time, it adds up to nothing.
And
Most
I mean,
of the time, it's just me getting a good nap in.
I like trust your opinion on this too. Is like, is this something we like should rush and like inquire about, or like should we just like, is this one of those things that like fate will decide? You know, you've got the moon goddess that sometimes deals with those things, you know. So I was just like,
Yeah, I mean, it is probably left up to the fates more so than us. Like, we can only do so much.
but like it doesn't hurt to inquire, because now I'm curious, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts, but it's just we have to find the right people to inquire to. Otherwise, we look like two weirdos just asking people, have you seen our friend Corey?
Maybe we should head back to the grove after this is all sorted out, just to see if he's still there.
Yeah, I think once we...
Can you call Mom? Wait, but she never met him either.
No, but I could at least ask her to start looking into...
Or like if
Who
she
this Corey
remembers
might be.
Corey.
Yeah, I suppose I could ask her.
If you can do the
Yeah, Mom answers.
note thing again.
Yeah.
Really? She doesn't answer me.
Do you have the right spell?
No, but I write
Do
sometimes.
you have the right number?
No, but I write sometimes.
Do you even
You're
know her
sending who
address?
I lived
So
with her
sorry.
longer than you did. You moved out. I did not.
That's true.
That's why she won't talk to you, because you
just
still live in the
stayed-
basement.
I just stayed in that crooked house. Not crooked, but like I couldn't think of a word.
Some parts of it were crooked. It was in a tree.
Yeah. Tree houses. So good.
So nice. Far less dirt. Anyways, yeah, our conversation just goes into us babbling about home life and
You can
Okay.
see we're on like the side of the road now, and like not even in the road, but like still going kind of straight.
Nice.
I
Okay.
would like to be behind him and using prestidigitation to make car honking noises that he's going off the road.
Ooh.
Okay. So, if that's the case, then let's hop over to Ulta and Aster in the other cart with what you guys wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so Ulta will climb up into the front seat and kind of brush off some of the various small bugs and weird granola and strange things that she's been trying to feed these spectral animals. She's unsuccessful often. But she will kind of take the small dragon in her hand and kind of like, and I'm expecting Heck the player to fix this or correct me, or maybe even Aster the character, but like kind of like setting them like a small bird on their weird like claw hand and just kind of like doing one of these bob things, like trying to like get it to like expand its wings a little bit, right? Like
Yeah, no,
I would
that's
assume
100%
you would
something
do-
that you would do. Yeah, and Aster would
Okay.
probably recognize. No, you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. Aster would probably recognize.
Yeah,
it, too.
so
she just kind of gesture over to you, just kind of like make sure that the horses are still going straight down the road and everything. Just say, has Sunrunner improved any with the flight? I see that he's starting to kind of get used to it, and he was gliding really well on the boat. But yeah, has there been any improvement with that?
yeah, so, and as I'm like kind of like bobbing this little dragon up and down and just like it's like little tiny wings, I'm gonna say, well, he does appear to be quite food motivated, so I was hoping you could help me with something.
I love how
Or
I
try
become the
something.
subject of a therapy experiment here.
You're welcome. That's what you get for having a therapist here. Actually, in reality, I think there's like 2 here, so
Yep.
FYI, or technically 3. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So,
That could probably help with something.
so I was thinking maybe if you toss his breakfast in the air, he will have to get it to eat. Or is that not a good thing to do with an animal's food? And she's still going to continue to just kind of like bob him up and down, trying to like get him to like get off of her hand and fly a little bit. But he's like not, I don't think he's interested too much.
I mean, to get him to learn a behavior, I mean, I don't see any problem with it, no.
So I will hand a small packet of jerky to Aster, and we are going to try to get this tiny dragon to fly on his own.
All right.
Yes, we're gonna teach him flying. I can't do that yet. I'm so sad. I don't have a fly speed in wild shape yet. Not until later.
And I'm not
Uh-oh.
No.
looking for like significant flight.
Okay.
I just want to start the process of training. Oh no.
Okay. I'm going to say it back
We
just to
got
see
the
if I caught
gist.
it. You're,
Yeah.
you're not looking for full-on flight necessarily. You're looking to start the process of training. Did I mirror that accurately?
Yes.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay.
I knew it was going to happen.
It's all good. You haven't
Now you
completely
sound
That's
dropped
the
fine.
yet.
gist of it, honestly. That wasn't bad.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like Zoom kind of slowed it down and caught up. Okay, so you can make a... This is kind of a tricky one. I'm going to think out loud. Animal handling would be, in my mind at least, a little bit more along the lines of control.
Yeah,
Just like
that's
neutral
typically
zone.
what I associate with training of any
Right.
kind.
But you've got like an intent behind what you're trying to get him to do. So that could be more along the lines of a persuasion check, right?
Could be.
I
Are
am
those
for
two
Far
sure.
different
less good at that.
traits?
I was just gonna say I am for sure wanting in Ulta's tiny brain, tiny dragon will grow to be big dragon. Big dragon is weapon. Like that's
Right.
where her brain is. Like
I mean,
maybe not quite like that, but like that's where her tiny brain is like, well, if we can get him to listen to us, like all of us collectively as a group, then this could be helpful down the road.
You know what? Because I'm legitimately sort of stuck between the two. Like one is wisdom, one is charisma. We could get all over the weeds with technical details about this, but I like to just go with the narrative when it makes more sense and just go from there. I'm gonna let you pick between an animal handling check and a persuasion check to get this tiny dragon to do what you'd like it to do with this motivation.
Okay, those are both the same for me. So
I mean, I can assist, or you can assist since Ulta did pass Aster the jerky. I will say that Aster's pretty good at animal handling. And you would probably know that based on what we've interacted with before.
if we go animal handling with the assist from Aster, can we get advantage? Is that an acceptable
Absolutely.
barter?
Yeah.
Okay. Felt like I was bartering there for a second. Okay, so an 18.
Okay, so you show this piece of jerky to the dragon, and I forget it. Sunny,
Sunrunner, but close.
Sunny for short, right? I thought that's
Sure.
what you said. Okay, Sunrunner. Sorry, I don't want to get it wrong. So you pull out this piece of jerky, and you know that he loves it. The 2 or 3 times that you've already given it to him before, he's absolutely devoured it. So you pull it out and he's like all eyes on this, okay? And then you sort of try to coax him up a little bit, like bobbing your hand at the same time. And before you pulled out the jerky, he was kind of doing this head thing, like just trying to keep stable while you were sort of bobbing him up and down. But then, like, you keep bobbing a little bit and hold the jerky and try to coordinate a little bit, and he's, like, starting to do this, like, weaving motion instead of just the erratic bobbing that he was doing before. And then every once in a while, he'll, like, expand and flap, and then bring it back in, and he's refocused on the meat, and then expand and flap, refocus on the meat. But you can tell at 1 or 2 points in that, he almost sort of catches air in the midst of that. You can tell he got close.
as that's all happening, because I'm just trying to start on the process, like I said, of training him. Ulta's going to like kind of like shift a little bit uncomfortably and go, so you know this shadow thing that I have going on?
I do, and it's still very concerning that there's not a lot going on with that. It's been in my brain too.
Yeah. I'm really concerned about it, and I'm wondering if maybe we need to, like, I don't know, like, this is gonna sound strange, and hear me out, but like, mark me somehow so that we know that I'm me, and that like somebody's not, so that we know who we're dealing with, because I'm worried that people are watching us through me, or that there's something happening, because like, you know, your shadow is like kind of part of you. Somebody has mine. I feel like I read this in a book once, where the shadow runs away, and I'm concerned. So I mean, I don't know. I'm wondering if I'm overthinking this a little bit. I'm just looking for feedback, because this is like really weighing on me a little bit.
I definitely don't take my not talking about it too much as a not thinking about it. I just saw how uncomfortable you were with everyone poking and prodding and experimenting and everything. I just didn't want to overwhelm you further. Yeah, no, it's a very valid concern. In terms of marking you for anything, that, you know, as long as you're okay with that kind of thing, I guess it is kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, I don't really know what this is all about or what it's doing. I, you know, only have really the knowledge of my people, my ancestors, and everything. That didn't really seem to come up with too many answers. But if you're looking maybe for something that isn't like a permanent mark or anything, I potentially could druid craft something, and just be like some moss or something between the scales or something like that, something that can go away but still let us know that it's you.
That's exactly kind of where my brain was going, and why I wanted to talk to you. I don't want to, I mean, I'm not asking for, you know, a branding or just something that in the off chance it needs to be determined that I am who I am. I would just like somebody in the party to be able to say that yes or no to that. And I'm just anxious about what it could do to everybody else.
Yeah,
so
well,
I would be willing to let you do some sort of druid craft for sure.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help. And depending on where like Ulta would like some moss to grow in between her scales, like whether that be like on her shoulder or like on her back or something like that. Yeah, easy enough to do for Aster.
Yeah, I will willingly allow Ulta to, like, if you need to, like, I don't know what druidcraft takes, like if you've got a toucher or whatever, she will willingly allow it.
Let me see. It's just verbal and somatic, so
okay,
just
cool.
Put a hand over and just
Yep. And that's all she just wanted some sort of mark on her that will allow someone in the party to differentiate in the off chance. Again, to describe Ulta's thinking is like, if someone has her shadow, she has her likeness. They have her likeness, so doesn't want another second Ulta showing up and people thinking that there's a duplicate.
It's a very valid concern.
Somebody's thinking ahead.
Would
I like it.
Yeah.
Would it make you feel better to have like a security question? I guess Eliseo like pops up from back, just like
Safe word.
I
don't know. What if?
Who was your first pet?
Yeah.
No,
You know.
but as Aster's doing this,
Two-factor
I'll just be like,
identification.
this won't take a second, and just pass her hand over wherever Ulta would like the moss to be, and it'll be just a little pattern of a dragon head, just in the moss.
Yeah, we'll say it's like up on, probably on the back of her neck, somewhere where someone wouldn't be looking a lot, probably. She doesn't
sure.
have hair, so not like anything's gonna cover it, but. And then, sorry, Nifrit, was LSAO saying something? I might have cut you off.
I was gonna ask, would it make you feel better, Ulta, if there was perhaps a question that you had us ask you, just to make sure that it was you and not, someone that looks like you? Or maybe something that you tell us about each other, like the first time that we met, so that we know you're you.
Yeah, that could also be helpful. I hadn't thought of that.
Just if it makes you feel safer, and if we can have that link for you, it might help.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas on questions?
Oh, street you grew up on. No. I suppose where's the town that we met would probably be too easy. I don't know. Aster,
Favorite
any
color?
ideas? Your favorite. Yeah.
Maybe what was the monster we faced in that cave?
Yeah, or even something like something.
Ourselves? That's how it felt in that cave.
Oof.
Oof.
We're getting deep.
Maybe just a favorite food or something, just that not anybody would know just by watching us.
Sure. All right. Well, yeah, we'll go with favorite food, and you'll see her
Is it granola?
pull out some of her granola, and
Okay.
yeah, granola.
The mealworms
is gonna
in
be the answer.
particular.
Maybe that's
The mealworm granola.
The mealworm granola. Yeah.
Hey, has to be that phrase. Mealworm granola is the
Yep.
safe phrase.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which she always manages to have stocked.
Yeah.
By the way.
Look, I'm impressed.
I will say, like, to some degree, I would assume that when they're sitting around a fire, she's more picking things out of the dirt
Mm-hmm.
than like pull. You know what I mean? She's probably like digging around, but
And
yeah.
and for the record,
yeah.
we are generally treating like food and water daily. Like that's not something that I want to put over emphasis on for this campaign. So we're not actively tracking it so much. So if you want to role play out like hunting, gathering,
Digging in the dirt.
Okay.
I don't know which category. I think that fits in gathering.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to role play any of that out, absolutely go for it. But yeah, for you guys, but more so for the audience, we're really not doing any sort of emphasis on like finding food, making sure we have enough, that sort of thing.
I think that after Ulta and LSAO's heart-to-heart last session, in the next couple days, LSAO might like just give a try of like, hey, I dug through the dirt for some things for you, and just like try.
That would probably be good. Yeah,
Just as a like, hey, I know I'm not good at this, but like, it's the thought that counts. I got you some worms.
Sure. Yeah.
Some bugs.
I feel that.
So yeah, in the next couple days, they would probably just
So
probably silently do that, just like.
So speaking of LSAO, along with
Oh, no.
that, you said you wanted to be working on something for this past 4 hours. We've gone through the
Yeah.
conversations with the other 4 people. What are you working on?
I'm still trying to spellcraft this thing that I haven't actually decided out of game what it is yet.
Sure. And
I have a
we
lot
have
of
established
options.
that even if you don't know exactly what you're going for, making attempts at something is still
Yeah.
helpful. So we can go for it.
Yeah, and like I have the spell that I am trying to homebrew partially written, so
Okay.
it's kind of that is what I'm going towards.
Is
I
that
just haven't finished
what you
it.
sent me?
It's in the spreadsheet.
It's in the spreadsheet. Okay.
See, I did my homework.
Yes. Thank you.
I love spreadsheets.
Okay. So let's do are you trying to craft how do I want to word this? Are you trying to make an attempt at progress toward that
It.
so far, or are you
Yes.
just trying to still? Are you still in the research? That's not even a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Are-
like I don't. Didn't you tell me I had to reach a certain number of like successes?
Yes. So the way we're
Yes.
doing this is a certain number of successes before a certain number of failures means you've finished a project.
Okay.
I
have
since
19
we don't
successes.
since we don't know what that project is yet,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to overcomplicate it. So we're going to say that the number of successes to number of failures is we're just going to extend it, and you'll have it sort of bank on itself toward creating something. Let's just say creating something more potent or more powerful once you know what the end result is going to be.
Okay. I mean,
or-
like I know the end result is going to be a spell. I just haven't finished clearing it with you outside of game.
Right.
You
So
know?
let's keep going then.
Okay.
I don't have the spreadsheet,
That's totally fine.
excuse me, up at the moment. How many failures do you have to this point?
3.
Okay, so you're nowhere even close to like
Right.
failing on a project. And you're at 19 successes. So
Right.
let's go ahead and make one Arcana check.
All right.
So that's going to be 2 skill points added, one for the attempt and one for doing the check at all.
Okay.
And you're looking
rolled
for an 11 or better.
Okay. It's Arcana.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I rolled so bad. I rolled a 4, and I have +7, which is
Ooh.
11.
Snuck it in. Okay.
I feel okay. This is that on the edge tension that everyone's hoping for
Yup.
when they watch a D&D stream. Weekend in magic checks.
Okay, so our second half of the day is anything. Are you guys switching, driving in any way? Are you having any other conversations or attempts at projects at all?
I'm just working out. I'm doing some crunches. I'm wielding my hammer and just kind of like doing like little circle spins with it, but trying not to hit anything. I am just attempting to become better at wielding it because I'm still mad at Antar. So I'm just like standing on top of all these boxes, letting my
meta-
brother drive, and just doing some
Getting
work.
Okay, I do want to
Do
ask.
some burpees.
Legitimate question.
Oof.
Might you be going for any of his unique moves, or are you just generally training to train out of like huffiness from getting beat up?
Man, that was
Yes.
so long ago.
The answer is yes to all of the above.
I
I
know
think it's
over the table.
It's more just training, like the physical unwieldiness of using a warhammer in combat.
Oh, that okay. We did
Yeah,
talk about
it's-
that a bit. Okay.
Yeah, it's more so than like I don't want to become Anthar. I have no desire for that person. I still think that man is distasteful. So
Okay.
not really looking to become him, but also you guys, he was actually wonderful and really tried to help us learn how to fight and stuff like that. It's just Juno's a
It's
salty bitch.
This is a personal grudge. Yeah.
It's true.
So yeah, I'm just gonna try to, as we were talking about earlier, it's gonna be a good ab session today. It's gonna be
Ooh.
focusing on core and trying to find the power there and just get better at wielding a warhammer.
I respect
Okay.
that.
Awesome.
Like it would be dope if one day this warhammer became magical and I was able to yeet it and it would come back to my hands, but that's not.
okay. So the
Neither
wish
here nor
list
there.
expands. I get it.
Are you telling me that I'm marrying Lady Thor? Because that's
Oh yeah, that was such a good episode.
I mean, imagine Thor, but the hammer's like 5 times as big.
It's a really long handle.
it's
It's,
a
so
huge
hammer.
unwieldy. I don't even have it in here right now.
Yeah. Okay, so you can, since we do have a specific sort of outcome in mind, go ahead and make an athletics check, and then you're going to have 2 skill points added to what we're currently calling physical training.
Athletics check. You know I'm super good at that.
All right.
13.
You feel your skill has improved.
Yay! So I add 2 more?
2 skill points and 1 success.
Oh, I add a success.
Yeah, so
More
the
small,
skill
more
point
small.
count is its own thing, and then the successes and failures are their own counts. The successes and failures are going to be going toward an individual project. The skill points are going to be going toward essentially proficiency in any given project of that skill pool.
Neat. Okay.
And I'm sorry if
Oh.
that sounds really convoluted, but you guys are kind of my guinea pig
Aster's
group,
page.
so.
I have a question. Could I songwrite while driving? Because I'm just kind of singing, you know?
As a musician, I'm going to give this some legitimate thought, because that is like practicing sing. You can practice singing and drive at the same time.
Or it could be like maybe like working on lyrics, but not necessarily the higher parts of the spell crafting, you know?
Right. The like actual somatic and written components of the spell, and figuring out what materials you might need.
Like I clearly can't play my lyre, but
But if you're
I could steer with my
practicing
knees.
singing-
Some people do that.
You know what?
Don't you dare!
I
You see me
am
like wielding my
not.
hammer behind you.
Let's have you do dexterity check for multitasking, which involves at least 1 physical task. And if you roll
Okay.
less than a 5, you will have a failure, but not like a critical failure of any kind.
Okay.
If you roll better than a 5, then you can add the second skill point and a success.
Just dexterity, right?
Yes, straight up dexterity check.
Oh, I rolled a 17 again. I'm really excited with this dice. It's doing good for me today. So that's a 21.
Nice. Okay, you've got it.
Okay. So you said that is a skill point?
1 skill point for the attempt, an additional skill point for the success, and the success.
Okay.
Yeah.
And based on the previous conversation, I'm adding this. I've kept my songs different, and this is going under love song and not rejuvenation.
Okay, so it's a separate project.
Yes, I have 2 different projects. One I just started like the last day of game.
Okay, got it. So this is a good point for us to go to a quick break, but before we do that, I should resolve a couple things so that I can show that I'm not ignoring chat cleric's help.
Kind of bad table.
Yep, so it looks like I have 2 +2s. I also have a bad table, an advantage, and a good table.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this photograph.
Then I trust that you guys have been keeping track of your additional chat cleric items. If not, do we need help?
Nope.
Okay.
Worst come to
I've been
worst, I
watching.
can look through the redeem rewards back in mod mode.
Okay, perfect. Ulta, I'm going to take care of that while we're on break, the message you just sent. And Ulta and Aster are, sorry, it's out of game, so Heck and Chrissy, if you guys don't mind helping me out resolve with the tables, just send me the table effects, and if you can send with that to me, whether it's good table or bad table, and then I will resolve the rolling and everything and give that to people when we come back from our break. We are going to be arriving at Baldur's Gate. So, we'll be right back.
Because it's
Useful.
the
Let's
max
put it
of
this
1
way,
is
it'll
1.
hurt.
Yeah,
The max
okay.
of 1 is 1 damage.
Plus my strength, so get over here. Bring me your face. I want to punch it now.
Maybe it hit me with a staff so it actually does something.
There's the moment we were looking for, folks. Hey, we're back. We've been back for a minute, and Heck is too good. She caught it right away.
Yeah. Again, like
I
I
actually-
said, I see everything.
Uh-huh.
I actually did see it. I just kept going.
Ooh, now that's good acting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we are on the point in... Ooh, I almost moved the wrong thing. We're at the point in the second day of travel where you are now approaching the... well, you have Baldur's Gate on your horizon. So, in the edge of your view rises a robust wall of stone, speckled with flags and small towers. Behind it, a single hill's peak. Not quite a mountain, but also much larger than a small hill. As you get a bit closer, a more modest cluster of huts and small homes would rise in front of you, so between you and the wall, and then the wall between that and the hill. Getting closer still, the sense of sea air, fresh water, and cooking meat will rush past you, all sort of in an amalgamation together. As the open expanse of the land leading toward the city opens up beyond the thin tree line that has accompanied you to this point. Baldur's Gate, an infamous city of trade and secrets and malcontents, is in front of you. I believe you've been given instructions as to at least generically what you should be looking for and doing at some point, but
Yep.
the city is your oyster,
Cinnabon.
so to speak.
Cinnabon at the Black Gate Trader. Yep.
And help me remember, because this is one detail that I'm having difficulty recalling. I know Ulta at least had some amount of background in history as far as the comings and goings of Baldur's Gate from an academic sense, at least. But had you been told like precisely where certain things were, like the black market, for instance, or the black trade? What's it called?
The Black Gate
The
Trader.
Blackgate Trader, that was it.
That is a negative. We do not know exact location. We only know general knowledge.
We're gonna walk in as cultists and hope that somebody thinks that we need directions.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this in phases. As at the point that I've just described, the city is on the horizon. You get like over the last little hill in the road expanse before you can see the basically slum in front of you, like leading to the city wall itself. And you can see that this road and one other coming from south to north goes to a different area of the city. At this point, where everything is sort of like just barely on your horizon, is there anything you want to discuss or look for or do or plan before going closer?
Ulta would definitely shout over to the other cart. We should probably pull over, come up with a game plan, make sure we have like our story straight so that we don't go in with 5 different stories.
That's very fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pointing at the big the thing, do we think that's Baldur's Gate, like the gate itself, or is that just like the name of the town, or is it just like all just the gate?
The name of the city.
Because that looks like a gate, and it could be Baldur's.
It's the name of the city.
Ulta, you know that it's the name of the city. I can't remember if you shared that with the entire group or not.
Nope.
Okay.
It just feels weird. Like, is it just a gate? Is there even anything behind it?
Ulta's not acknowledging these questions.
Juno will be sitting next to him and be like, well, they did make a hullabaloo about it, so like it must be important, or at least some gate of significance.
Maybe the gate is like the big scenery of the town, so the whole town is named after the big gate.
Oh yeah, could you imagine all that money going to that piece of infrastructure?
I mean, I'm correct, Niffer. Isn't it Baldur's Gate? 'Cause it's like a gate to a different plane.
Over the table, several interpretations could occur. The founder's name was Baldur, and it became the
A
interpretation
gate.
I like to go with is that it is a gateway between the two different north-south major sections of the Sword Coast, along the coastway specifically. Yeah, so that's
We
an
spent
oversimplified
200
version.
years in a grove. We know nothing about this place.
I bet it's like a tourist trap kind of thing, you know?
Like a giant statue of a deity or something like that.
Should I become a tour guide
What's
again?
up?
That was fun.
Ulta is
You
going
need to be a cultist.
hear all of this and turn to Aster and not acknowledging any of it go, what's our game plan?
Asked her for reference to, like, we've already alluded to this before with El Turel, but this would be even more of a sight of, like, over the table, industrial looking sense than you've, like, by a long shot than you've ever seen before. There's like plumes of smoke happening that, like, if you didn't know better, you would swear that, like, a whole bunch of stuff was on fire. This whole concept of walls is like the most you've seen is property lines, maybe.
Maybe. Like,
yeah.
honestly,
and it's
yeah,
open
like-
to your interpretation. So.
Yeah, when it came to like her people, yeah, like there aren't like walls or anything. You just knew like which trees you should not be going past. Like this is the edge of our wood. Like that's it. So yeah, this is she's just gonna kind of look very overwhelmed, just kind of looking at it for a second, and turn back. Say, I'm not really sure. I mean, we have these robes and everything. Were we wanting to see the cultists with these cards first, or do we want to pursue that contact with, our contacts first?
Ulta will see the like shock and confusion in your face and get more flustered, turn back to the group discussing Baldur's Gate, toss around for 2 seconds in her head, just storming off, and she will turn to Juno and say, it's got a gate around it. Like there's a gate around it. There's like a literal, we're looking at the, anyways, it doesn't matter. So what I'm concerned about is that we don't know where we're going. So I feel like maybe we should come up with a game plan.
I agree with that sentiment.
Ground rules number 1, stick together.
Did you say that you were pulling over or continuing on as
We
you
were
talked?
pulling over.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just yelling across the road as we approach a city that we're very anxious about. No, we pulled over. I think we're definitely like, and even if we needed to, like, Juno could even set up something to help, like, kind of keep their voices secret at least, so they could have a secret conversation real quick.
Okay.
I gotta pull up my sheet.
Well, okay, to be fair, you are not close enough that, like, you can see small pockets of even carts just outside of this, like, villagey area that's outside of the gate, but it's well out on the horizon yet. Like, it would take several minutes of travel still to get there, so you're well outside of earshot of anybody that you can even see.
Okay. Then I will save my spells, and I'll just kind of, like, tell everyone to just, like, huddle in.
I don't know necessarily what we should do, but I think a big thing that we should keep separate is that we were told directions from who to check in for, like, our people, and then we're supposed to do something completely different to fit in as these people. So I think we might have to choose which one's more important, or at least goes first. Because maybe we take the robes off, hide the cart, check in, and then do our stuff while being the people we're pretending to be.
I'm nervous about trying to hide these cards. I think
was
the other
gonna
order
say
might
the
be our
opposite
best
direction. Oh, babe.
Yeah, that.
bet. But it could, like, that way we also have more intel other than, yeah, we fucking obliterated some cultists on the side of the road and we took their shit. And now we're here. I feel like that's not useful information.
It'd be better to bring Syllabon more things that we learned well in Baldur's Gate.
I was just afraid they're gonna move us somewhere else, and then we won't be able to give them information.
Okay, so ground rule 2, no secondary locations.
Yeah, we just say that we're gonna go to a different part of the city because we're cultists. We've been hired from these weird farmlands and we've never seen the city. We'd really like to see the city before we go.
Well, and
Assuming they take that as an answer.
well, the people that we took the robes from were half cultists, but also just half hired merchants, right? I
That's
imagine
fair.
that the hired merchants could just deliver and be on their way.
So I do want to give you guys a reminder, just in case that this is totally over the table, because maybe we just missed some detail, or maybe I said it too fast and I definitely didn't mean to. But I do recall that the merchants told you that their directive was to get the carts from point A to point B and then take different carts back. And the cultists told you, after the merchants, you had already sent the merchants away, that their directive was to get to point B with the carts, and then you knew they were going to have to be unloaded piece by piece, like the cargo piece by piece, transported through the city to a new set of carts, and then you resume travel. So there's sort of two different sets of directives, one for the merchants themselves and one for the cultists themselves. I just wanted to reiterate that to make sure that if the players may have forgotten that,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily work against you, because the characters would remember that.
Yeah, because Ulta was going to bring up the fact that, like, only two of the people that we met were actually cultists.
Right.
So 2 of us are going to be expected to continue travel with the carts.
Or it could be the cart that got ambushed was the carts that the cultist was on, because regardless, we're still missing a cart.
True.
And our
Yeah.
best bet is going to be to say that that was ambushed. If they're expecting 3 carts and we show up with 2, we lost
True.
some folks along the way. And we could
You're
even make the lie a little bit easier to believe with just saying kind of what happened to them. Like, these people came out of the water and they started moonbeaming us. They called lightning on us. They were just really fucking up our shit. And we made our breakaway as fast as we could, but the other cart wasn't so lucky. And that might have been the cart with the cultists.
It would be a good cover for Kenrick and Gavir, who are trying to start a new life, if we say, hey, these people specifically
Are dead. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah, it would definitely work more in our favor to be just the regular merchant, so we can just kind of say we're gonna go back to our point at El Terrell and just never do.
Okay, so
Also-
I support that, but also I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just very briefly, Juno sister, maybe don't suggest that there was a moonbeam when you are a moon elf. That might just be a tad bit suspicious.
okay.
You know?
Yep, that makes sense. But they had magic and they took out a whole cart.
Good. Just don't over-explain it, I think.
I just want the lie to be believable. I'm not very good at this.
Yep.
The realism.
Too detailed of a lie makes it obvious. So just, general. Yep.
I don't lie that
Also,
often.
You got this, babe. Believe in you.
They know us now. All of us,
Oh,
Me,
people have recognized us so far.
specifically.
Yeah, that's why I
Tiny
thought
lizard.
the robes would be a good idea, but there was also kobolds in their ranks. And I'm not trying to be offensive here, but so far we've encountered a lot of racists within the cult who might think kobolds look alike, though I think you are distinctly different. At least you seem a little bit more fit. So, like, as long as you're wearing something like flowy and bulky, that could work to your advantage. But I do think we need to definitely, like, try to do something to make you look a little different. Whether that's adding, like, makeup to your scales or something like that to make you less orange.
Yeah, about that. And I'm just gonna, pull out my very clearly platinum hair. Just be like, this is gonna need to get changed too.
I think I can actually help with that. I think I have the materials to dye.
Okay.
Hair,
Um,
dye hair.
I've got,
I was like,
I have the materials to die.
I look back
I
like
have
that
the
sounded some
materials
kind
to
of way.
live.
I have and am proficient with
Clip
a
that.
disguise kit if we need to do some makeovers.
Ooh,
materials
makeover
to
party.
Sister, I think you could use a little blush and foundation, and you,
No, she's fine.
part sibling, we need to dye that hair. If that's okay with you, just saying, to look less like us, you know?
Also, you two specifically, I point to Aster and Icarus to be like, there's also probably something you should know. I was born in the dragon cult, and that's why I knew those people, and that's why I really need a hair change thing. Yep.
Oh
You
yeah,
could cut your hair.
I knew that.
I think you would look cute with short hair. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how you got here after all that, but I'm glad you are here.
I was smuggled out when they killed my family.
Minor details.
Her eyes widen the same way. Noted.
It's been a while, but yeah. Not
Hey,
the best
high five.
memories.
One more thing in common.
No.
Just growing. You can see the concern just growing on Aster's face right now.
Like, who the heck?
Doesn't even know what to say. I think we all need to talk later, but yeah,
Yeah,
there's a plan at hand here.
I probably should not have kept that from you, and I'm sorry that I did. I didn't want there to be as much of a connection between our activities and this, but there is. So.
Makeovers. We doing that? We should probably do it before we get in town, right?
Makeover
Yeah.
montage. Oh man, I wish I prepped like some straight up 80s music montage music for
That'd be
this.
great.
Oh, that would have been so
Quick
good.
to epidemic sound. Let's go.
I get a perm.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's anything I can help with. I don't.
think I do
have
actually
any
have- I could
spells that
play it
can
for
help,
stream, but-
unfortunately.
Hang on. Okay, this is
Oh, no.
worth it that I'm gonna take a second to look.
So I've got pigment colors. I've got red. I've got brown. I've got black. What are you thinking, Eliseo?
Not silver, because that's very obvious.
Well, that's what you have. So we're
Yep.
trying to do something else.
Yep.
Do you have an opinion? Should I free for all? You know.
Don't put a rainbow in my hair. Juno, you're gonna look at it the most. So, what color do you want my hair to be?
You would look great in anything. And then Juno grabs his other stuff, Icarus's other stuff, and starts like looking at Ulta, going like, "How do we get makeup on a kobold? How do we make her look different?" And it's just like they're both like looking at each other as Juno's holding this makeup, and neither one knows what the next step is.
Mm-mm.
They just kind of just.
That might be.
Chrissy, you're
You're
muted.
muted.
She's just deadpan, just like,
I don't know how to make you look different.
Okay, but what if we did cut Eliseo's hair and made it into a little wig?
A wig for
takes
Ulta?
time.
That takes time.
true,
None
it
of us
does.
have wig mastery down.
can't just glue it to the top of my head.
That would look so much more suspicious.
Listen, she's just insecure about it. That's what we say. They won't question her, right?
Aster, you were recognized too, right? What should we do for you?
I mean, I could always just wild shape into something. I could just be like someone's cat
Yeah.
or something.
I don't think Aster
That's
was
fair.
recognized. Were you?
Wasn't it Aster and Ulta?
It was Eliseo and Ulta. Ulta was recognized by some, and Eliseo was recognized by a different group.
Oh, I thought Aster was with Ulta, so I thought they were both recognized, but I could be wrong.
Is
When
Ulta
they got the
recognized for-
dragon, it was Ulta,
Yeah,
I think.
It was,
Okay.
But-
Ulta was recognized for being the one to fight the blue dragon or
Gotcha. Makes more sense
Ponderosa
now.
Steakhouse.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was
remember
she was
Oh my
picked out
God.
for taking on a full buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll point at Aster and be like, "I'll get back to you in a moment," and then go back to dyeing Eliseo's hair.
Great.
Aster, I don't know. I don't mean to put you on the spot, so just tell me to look the other way right now if I need to. But I don't know if we ever established like what you actually look like. Oh, just generically, what do you look like?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, she's very similar to what her art looks like.
Okay.
She's got long brown hair with kind of a various like braids, more of a loose one in the front. And yeah, just her general garb. Like she wears leather armor, but it is made out of deer hide rather than typical leather. And she carries with her, the staff that now holds Seymour. And yeah, yeah, there are various implements of like bark kind of embedded everywhere. But yeah, very much the typical like how mechanically the armor would work, but with like definitely more of a outdoor kind of hermit like style, essentially.
Would you say farther than the generic term rustic would cover? Like even more nature-based than that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So when I showed the picture of where is that? Right off. Would you say that's kind of on par with your look, or would you say that you look at maybe a little bit more refined in your overall clothing, I guess, and armor than that? Where would you compare to that?
Yeah, like I guess like now like over the past like couple weeks since she's been around cities and been around like more civilization, all of that, she's tried to like change that a little bit to fit in a little bit more. So yeah, it's more refined than it was before when we just walked into Greenest and everything was on fire and everything. So there's definitely been some changes since that. But there's still like the same like elements that she like wants to like keep about her appearance and everything. So the materials are kind of the same, but yeah, she's kind of refined it a little bit more to be like a little less like I walk into somewhere and everyone just like stares at me or something. Nothing like that, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm imagining like somewhere in between, like a straight up person of the forest druid caked on dirt everywhere, like Radagast from Lord of the Rings type. Somewhere in between that and like where Ulta is, like the more rangery type of the wood, of the nature. You have that sort of identity to you, but you said slightly more refined. So you have leather armor. It is made of deer hide. It might not be quite as ornate as a more typical deer hide leather armor might be, but it's leather armor nonetheless. You mentioned a couple of pieces of bark as like maybe a shoulder plate here or a patch there sort of thing. So you would actually have, I think more than anybody else, maybe Ulta. You and Ulta might look the most like, as you're getting closer to Baldur's Gate now, what a watch guard might look like overall. But with your more natural, like them metal, you bark, and more natural elements, sort of pieces to your overall looks, but you've got the same sort of overall demeanor with that in mind. So as you're getting closer to the city now, you would notice a couple of small clusters both between the road and farther to your left, the south, the river that you've come off of at this point, clusters of carts, boats, piles of crates and barrels, with a whole buzzing of people around each. There's no way to distinguish between different types or groups of people necessarily at this point. You're about halfway between the point that you were before and like at the same place that these people are. I don't want to draw this out too much necessarily, but I also don't want to overlook if you guys had a certain plan in place or wanted to look or think about certain things. Is there anything else at this point as you're getting closer that you're looking for or trying to discern or trying to do?
Ulta would just probably be moving to the back of the cart to keep an eye out as we move through the city. so that she's going to be keeping an eye out for similar robes. She's going to be keeping an eye out for symbols, and also keeping an eye out on people approaching the cart, knowing what its contents are, especially if we're going somewhere first, stopping there, and then talking to our connections, and then going somewhere else. She's going to want to make sure we have tabs on the cart as best as possible so that not much more goes missing.
Okay. All right. So let's make a couple of notes about yourselves. You did do an attempt at disguising, correct, Icarus?
Yes.
And that doesn't require any sort of skill checks, right? It just sort of happens.
It's a tool kit, so it's a tool I'm proficient with, so I can make a check for that if you would like.
Nah, I think you guys are attempting to hide yourselves. I don't want to ruin that by bad luck, so.
I can also just alter self for myself to make myself human, maybe scraggly red hair.
If you want to do
freckles.
that for a specific pointed purpose, that what you did back when you checked out the rear guard camp, that would be something different. But the generic attempt at disguising yourselves overall as a party, I don't think it's important enough.
I'm
to
just doing
make
a little
check
bit
for that.
extra for myself because I can make it easier.
Okay.
But I'd also like to walk up to Aster at some point and be like, I love your look, I love your vibe. I'm just gonna make sure a little bit of the bark is covered by the robe, so just tuck this right here, and sorry, it's just to make sure, play it safe.
Oh, okay. And she just also that she doesn't know how to approach us either. She just kind of awkwardly.
I just saw a little bit of bark. I don't know if anyone would question it. I mean, I wouldn't, but I'm just making sure.
Ulta, how would you feel about a large floppy hat?
Sure. Okay. That's all.
Juno just passes hers down and looks up at the skies oh God, sun. And just passes it back along the cart to Ulta, who's just kind of standing watch and looking over everything as she keeps driving.
It would probably be similar to putting your hat on a child's head.
Yep. But it's one of
So-
those ones that you can just you just tip it back a little bit and it
Sure.
mushrooms out around your head. I don't know if that's worse or better, or you can tip it down and it'll just conceal almost all of your face.
She would probably move it down.
Yeah.
Plus, she's not necessarily up on the fashion, so she wouldn't know to tip it back so that she can see.
Yep.
So she'll just keep it how it lands and think a lot of confusing thoughts. And just keep an eye out.
I mean, no one can say that they've seen a kobold in a really floppy hat, so that at least makes you different now.
Yes, and she'll just kind of continue to think about how dangerous this is that we're about to do this.
Yep. Oh yeah, Juno is a ball of nerves, but she's concealing it with just deadpan expressions as they approach town, looking like a narc. That's what she totally looks like.
Okay.
She doesn't want to lie.
Yep.
Insight is my top skill.
Deception
Alright.
is very good for me.
And Eliseo has been turned into a brunette.
All right.
Hey,
so
that makes
disguises
and they
applied.
don't like it.
Anything else before you get to the point that you're face to face with other people?
Thoughts and prayers?
Yep.
We
Do
did
you need
just
to
get a
circle
magic
up and hold
item.
hands and just say something?
Oh wait, can I do that for anyone?
I can bless.
Chrissy,
But-
as the player, wants to clarify that we did say we were going to meet our connections first and then
I
go
thought it was the
to-
other way.
Oh, okay. Just kidding then. All right. I had a feeling I was confused, but I didn't want to play it as Ulta thinking she knew what the fuck was happening when she doesn't.
None of us know what's
Are we
Yeah.
are we certain? Let's just make a good
I-
check-in here.
I believe we said the other way around? Like, do our con first and then explain it, because we don't have enough to report.
Because then we can give more information to Celeborn. We got another magic item, by the way.
Oh, that's a magic item. Look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Chat, y'all are
Psycho.
so
And for the
wonderful.
gifted subs. Very sweet.
Yeah. This stream has been
Welcome
super
back.
hype.
Y'all going crazy. Love you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So, with a slight change in the mood music, you are now at the outer perimeter of Baldur's Gate. I'm going to shift you to this map. And we're looking at the east side over here. Uh-oh. Did it not change you?
No,
Oh.
I got it.
Oh,
I got it as well.
Sow's foot?
I don't see it on
That's fine.
stream though.
It's
but I
not
haven't.
on stream. What's
Oh.
happening? Refresh?
Worth noting, Eliseo's eyes also glow. Think there's anything we can do to fix that?
I can
Without making it
prestidigitation
worse.
them, right?
I think can't you prestidigitation though?
I can prestidigitation them.
You
And
can
it
change the
lasts
color.
Just
of
do
them.
that when
hour.
we're interacting with someone. Like,
Alright, I'll do
I
that.
think if it's just like we're driving down the road, it doesn't really matter. If people are paying that much attention, it's just because you're hot. They're not actually looking at your eyes.
Thanks.
Um,
It will last for an hour for prestidigitation. So, yeah, I can do that to my eyes.
yeah, just keep re-upping that.
And,
Cool.
And
Thank
sister,
you.
do you
It's
want
only a minute.
to have smaller pupils with prestidigitation to be less noticeable, or?
No,
I-
I enjoy the fear that people internalize when they see me, so I will.
I feel really bad asking everyone to like, do you want to look different than you normally do? That it just feels bad, but like
I'm
we're
not
trying.
wearing my hat.
I
We're
would
trying
really
to
like my
different.
old hair back.
I am as Icarus. I'm defending myself. Like I don't want to change you guys. I love the way you guys are, but like for the sake of like blending in, you know.
No, I agree. It's just, this comes out, right?
I mean, look at me. I look like a common human rapscallion.
I said this comes out, right? What'd you use on my hair?
I hold up 2 different bottles of brown. Which one was it? Which one did I use?
A magnanimous dispensation.
Who are you asking? I was with Alta.
I'm really debating using the max damage vacuum stick right now.
Should I roll a d20 to find out which one I
Nope.
did?
Nope, we should not. We should just go along with this plan.
So to confirm, Das, did you mean to do a magic item or 2 bad tables?
Yeah, we should
Because you
confirm that.
put
You do you cursed.
you do you Icarus.
There is another
specifically.
bad table in there for sure.
Why?
Oh no, it's 2 bads. Okay,
Why?
interesting.
It could be.
So there's another
just
magic
asking
item and
to
2
confirm
bads?
because sometimes people separate it out differently.
Daw said, but then Mr. Rogers said a different
Mr.
answer.
Rogers
You
so-
didn't
doesn't
donate,
speak for
Mr.
us.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers does not get to speak for us all the time.
Mr. Rogers doesn't like me apparently.
We love you, Mr. Rogers, but please we want good things.
Okay, so at this point, I think I fixed it. Do we all see where we are on the outskirt of
Where we
Sow's Foot?
are.
Sow's
Yes.
Foot? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
Thanks
and
for
then
the
Bards of New
raid.
York are raiding.
was
I love
you
that.
guys.
Hey,
We
We
just
love
got a
it.
makeover. It's gonna
you
go
are
great.
you are just in time for the makeover disguise welcome to Baldur's Gate party going on right now. So, we have been at since El Turel, like 2.5, 3 days of travel, and you had been given some generic amount of instruction on what you should be looking for / doing as you get here, and viewing this outer slum, you see a whole plethora in. I should move the diamond. This line is like the road. Okay, that's this map is a little different than what shows on the world map, so I had to draw it in. This line off to the east is your actual road, and then this oval area is actually like a conglomeration of carts and like parked carts and horses. Some of them are still attached to their carts. Some of them are detached and sort of in their little clusters of grazing areas with like poles for them to be tied to. I don't know what the right word is for that, I guess, but like small clusters of grazing areas for horses and the animals that are actually pulling the carts if the drawers are actually taking like a longer break, figuring out. But you get a view of a whole bunch of bartering and commanding and instruction giving just cross all over the place. It's kind of chaotic.
We're in the parking lot.
You're in the parking lot. You're at the tailgate. It would be a more accurate description.
I was just about to say that we're tailgating Baldur's
Gate.
It's
so
tailgate at Baldur's Gate.
I hate this. Baldur's tailgate.
However, at a point that you get close enough, you would actually recognize a few carts, not the carts themselves, but a few clusters of people with robes very similar, if not the exact same with your own. And one or two people with their hands sort of going up in the air and pointing at one group and then pointing another way and then pointing one way and then at another group, and they are just yelling commands. They're like, I say I'm a shepherd and you're a clouder. This is that tenfold, okay?
I think we should go that way.
There's a whole bunch, like, and the people in carts are kind of all over the spectrum of like, only a handful are actually paying attention. A whole bunch are off to the side, like kicking off their boots, like resting, whether it's on their carts or on the ground. One or two might be napping. There's like a small campfire going here and there for the people who are impatient enough that they can't wait to eat anymore. There's a whole mess of stuff going on. And after maybe a minute, you'll have one person one of the few that's been sort of like trying to direct traffic here, come up to you guys and flag you down. Oi! Scheduled cargo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which sector?
Which one of us is answering? Who's the red?
No, it's not me.
We
Come
didn't
now, I
get
haven't got all day,
Specifically,
eh?
it's sitting in the back.
table talk. We didn't get a sector from them, did
No,
we?
You did not
we
get
just got the
you have
final
general
point. Like,
geography, but sectors something you haven't been thrown before.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't think we really got assigned a sector. Maybe I forgot. I like try to act very nervous and like. Did they tell us a sector? I might have.
Okay, leaders killed in action and you just get fucking lost. Come now.
Well, we lost a car. One of three. We came from that way. We did get attacked. It was really scary.
The actual Tenric and Gavir, Bun, they were the ones in charge. We're just carrying what we got. We took what we could pile into the other two carts, but the last one was a lost cause. And
say those names again.
Tenric and Gavir.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey.
Blimey, fuck. Not high enough to be on my list, so how many carts?
There were three, but we got two and a half-ish items right now.
No. There were three. There are two.
Yeah. There are two.
Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Two carts. He's scribbling on his.
Ulta is fuming.
Is your eye twitching?
God,
She is not enjoying this guy at all.
that was a little scary,
not
actually.
I'm so afraid.
He's like scribbling on what is in this world what we would call it a clipboard.
No, I hate going through the border.
Yeah, listen, like the amount of times that like either like TSA agents or like any sort of like transit have talked to me like this, I'm already
Am I
These are
getting pretty
reactions you're
close?
getting from us. Thank you.
And he's gonna
If
start
2
walking
cards
around.
to declare.
One,
We're not taking any playouts
Are you
or
taking any
anything.
booze, drugs,
listen.
unmentionables?
I went through Chicago International
Oh yeah.
at the date that they shut down travel for COVID. So it was
Oh,
like being
man.
in a zombie horror movie. So this is like, I'm like, my eye is twitching because I'm like, am I back in Chicago right now? Ugh.
Yep. Okay, so before I continue, we should resolve some things before I forget because I will forget.
Just have 3 bad
2
tables
magic
for
items,
Mr.
Sorry,
five
Rogers.
guys.
good tables, 3
I-
bad
Yeah,
tables.
each
Full
of us got a good table, and there are 3 bad tables,
Okay.
and another
full
magic
disclosure
item.
for anybody
If you
who's new
want
to
to.
TPK, I'm a very new DM for TPK, so I'm doing my best. We're actually sharing some responsibilities so we don't miss stuff. That's not an excuse, it's just an explanation. So, what do we got? We did resolve the good and bad tables that I had noted there so far. So does everybody still have a good table to resolve?
Everybody got
Yes.
another round.
Yeah.
There's another round for everybody?
Yep.
Is that Mr. Rogers
Because
doing?
It's Mr. Saito.
That was
Mr.
Mr.
Saito.
Saito
Saito.
and Rogers, both of the misters.
You guys
Thank
are
you,
far too
misters.
kind to this channel. Holy
You're
cats.
so good.
We love you.
Okay. So, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Player to player. Would you like a truly random good table outcome? Or do you want a DM discretion automatic success at any given check in your time at Baldur's Gate? Check or
I'm
save.
okay with the just the DM's discretion just to keep narrative flow going so we don't have to roll a bunch of things and take the time because chat's here. But it is totally fine either way.
I will take a good table on behalf of the chats.
Okay. So let's have Juno roll a D100, and anybody else, if you want the truly random good table, we'll have you roll a D100, and then I forget Chrissy or Heck which one of you is handling good tables, but we'll
I
figure
think
those
I
out.
might do it. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Got a 30.
I
30.
got a
magic
32! It's
It's meant to be. Okay, hold on.
it's literally 30 and 0. So that's
Yep.
not 300, that's 30. Oh my god.
That's what I have.
Okay.
Ulta rolled a 38.
Oh, that's close. We almost had to make you a twin.
Okay, you
You're
know what?
adopted now.
Actually,
That's how it
looking at the
works.
time, I think this is actually a really good time to take a short break.
Oh,
for
okay.
our audience, and so let's take a quick bathroom refill your water / beverage break and resolve the table stuff over the next 4 or 5 minutes.
I rolled
What
a
did you roll?
29. I put it in chat,
Oh,
but
okay.
she said nice, and so I wanted to appreciate that first.
Hey, how we doing? We're back.
We're back.
Nice.
Nice. Hey, we got a 69 on the bad table, right?
Oh,
Nice.
we've gotten this one before.
Uh-oh.
We've
Mouth,
gotten this one
mouth,
before.
mouth.
Is it the mouth?
No,
Oh god,
no,
I
it's
was
not.
so worried.
Is it the one where everyone starts floating?
No. Okay. Do you want me just to read it out?
Yeah,
Sure.
just tell me.
All right. For the next D4 days, every time the curse attempts to speak, including to cast a spell, must save versus end or instead deliver a lengthy and discursive monologue on 1. Bean cultivation, 2. The daily schedule of an emperor who died thousands of years ago, 3. The spiritual beliefs of spiders, 4. The life cycle of the cherub, 5. The various manias, phobias, and perversions of the nearest, most powerful monarch, 6. The correct method of preparing, storing, and administering a heretofore unknown and spectacularly deadly poison. 7. The best tourist destinations in the nearest village. 8. Famous fish poets. 9. The dangers of breathing. Or 10. The magical properties of cheese. On a
Obviously.
repeated roll, the target must continue their lecture from where they left off before.
I feel
Okay.
like this is
The
the worst
dangers
though
of
because
breathing.
I feel like LSAO legitimately has these rants prepared and they've thought about them before.
Well, hopefully.
If you don't start talking about cherubs, my angel spouse, I am going to flip my lid.
I have done the tourism one before out of choice.
I will
Okay.
put it in our chat.
I am willing to give this a go.
Go for it.
So it's whenever you cast a
Save
spell.
versus- Every time
including
the cursed
anytime you-
attempts to speak, including to cast a spell. But it's an intelligence save, so it should be fine.
Oh my god. Okay, the D4 days is gonna be a 1 day.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm willing to accept this.
Yeah. The
Chat, this is for you. You do this.
holy cats. Okay.
Although
So
you
what
have
did we
to
leave
save
off?
out of it.
We've-
It's an
we've
int
got-
save, so.
It's an int save. I should be fine.
We've got
is fine.
aggressive TSA agent already addressing you guys with the whole like what's your cargo writing stuff down thing, right? Is there anything that you guys wanted to say or do as he's continuing? He's like starting to go around to the side / back of your first cart.
Yep. Nope.
Sorry, sir. They were given to us, and we filled it up as more than what we originally had from the other cart too, to try to make up for the.
It's 2 carts though. So
Okay,
Yeah, two
looks
carts.
like,
Carts.
looks
Just 2
like two
carts.
full carts to me. What the
Two
fuck
full
do I care?
carts because we tried to fix things.
Stop
You did.
talking.
Pat on the back. Good, jolly good. Okay.
Thanks, sir. I just want to do good. Huh.
Shut.
Yep. Stop talking. There we go. We're going.
It was totally in character. Hyacinth, nothing personal.
I told you I was looking like a young rapscallion tryhard.
And I'm just like tired and just trying to keep going.
He comes around back and like pulls back the back like curtain fold thing going on, Ulta, and he'll see you and you're in there with your like overly long, droopy hood cover,
And a cloud of darkness surrounds me.
and a cloud of darkness around you. He's just gonna pull that curtain back, take a quick glance, look back at his fucking pile of papers here, write some stuff down, and say, "Oh, glad you didn't turn over, eh? All right, off to the next." And goes to the next cart, does the same thing, pulls back the curtain, starts writing stuff down. All right, you unloading, or you meeting us at the end?
We got told meeting.
Meeting at the end. Okay, payment up front for the hired off work then.
Can I whisper to Juno real quick? It's okay that we take their money, right?
Are we?
Is this
we-
like we
are
have
we
to
paying
pay
them?
or they're paying
I think
us?
they're paying us because that's why the
No.
people signed up for this without
I-
being.
I
I
So-
nod.
thought they got paid at the end, and we
They-
paid for
they-
passage.
Yeah,
Reminder
they-
for the players: there was
Please, thank you.
mention of like
They were supposed to get paid.
you were
right?
going to get either help with unloading or pay the fee for hired help, and then the carts were getting sold off to other people to go back.
Right.
So you are either participating in the unloading yourselves or
Oh.
paying out of pocket to have hired help
Oh,
unload.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're. The plan was we do it ourselves, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
Then I give that answer.
Yep, we gave that answer instead.
Yep.
My little muscles are yours, sir.
All right, then off to the hand cots.
Okay.
And
Thank
a
you.
small group of like 8 or 10 individuals will basically roll up with what are like wheelbarrows, and
Yeah.
just like plop them off next to your carts, and then run back to their like meeting point, sort of on the outside of South's Foot here. There's like this little off-beaten path that comes out from this sort of slum area, and everybody you're seeing to this point is actually a pretty clear distinction of, I guess for lack of a better word, I'll just say class. It's a crude word for it, but I can't think of something better right now. I apologize. But there's like the people arriving with carts and cargo, which have the slightly nicer, like they've been traveling, but they're merchants. Merchants try to make themselves presentable sort of look. And then there are the poor people of the slum in front of you who are just trying to make some coin in the moment, in the day. They're being hired out to help take cargo from point A to point B. This is what this area is. It's the work that's available to this area. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the folks that are being hired for in the moment help are like running up these small single person wheel carts to you, and then like dropping them off, taking a small coin from the guy that's been yelling at everybody, and then running back to their meeting point, running out to another group, taking a coin, running back to their meeting point, that sort of thing, just back and forth, back and forth. They look totally run down, physically exhausted, but absolutely all of them are involved with it. And it's coming up on dusk at this point. So you said you wanted to unload your own carts. You have a total of, we'll say 10. Again, 4 individual people, like wheel carts available to you. They're essentially equivalent to wheelbarrows. And the expectation is that you're going to unload. And as you look through Sow's Foot and into the dirt road that's available around the hill in front of you, you can see that there is like one narrow, not very well kept, not very well paved pathway around this small mountain and deeper into Baldur's Gate.
That where other people are heading to unload stuff?
Yes.
Then I will take the lead and drive in front of Icarus's cart.
We don't have a cart anymore.
Nope,
We're
just kidding.
wheelbarrowing.
I'm leading in front then.
Okay.
This is going to be exhausting.
This is gonna be fine.
Juno's gonna look at Ulta and be like, that shadow has grown exponentially in her mind. She's just like staring at Ulta like,
What?
Yeah.
and then she's just gonna like walk up to her and unknowingly tap her on the shoulder and be like, are you okay?
Can we like see the magical darkness?
Yes.
Like, is it just the shadow on the ground?
No, it's like a full circle. Just around, it's like an aura on the ground around her.
Yeah,
But,
she's
like, it's
stealing my
only-
vibe right now.
It's only on the ground. It's not like in view beyond that.
I'm gonna say it's on the ground. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
like
so it's not like a fog.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just
Okay.
say it's on the ground. Yeah.
It's just that big shadow.
Yeah, so she will, while trying to manhandle one of these crates, look at Juno and go, I was concerned about not having a shadow, and now I am very concerned about having a shadow.
Yeah, it's like the gods were listening, but this is too much.
Asking you shall receive.
Uh-huh. And I will look down and go, and I shared it with you. Sorry?
Shadow will just look back and be like,
I don't
think it looks cool.
understand.
We're gonna keep this one for the rest of the game.
Cool.
at least this way it's not just you. And so people don't see a kobold with even more magical powers drawing more attention to you.
Mm-hmm. And she's just nodding, horrified. She's so terrified right now that like she's
Maybe
drawing extra
maybe we put
attention.
you in the middle of our walk. So that
Sure.
way it looks like it's just a part of our group and we can all stay kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And she
Hey.
will, holding a, just shuffle forward.
The slowest wheelbarrow walk of the
Yes.
group.
Does the
Okay.
shadow around mean you're fully in shade, or just exist separate from sunlight and shade?
I was going to ask if this means I no longer have a disadvantage on perception checks because I'm technically in the dark.
Yeah, that's what
There's
I was
magical
going for.
Oh, okay.
darkness.
Yeah,
You know what? I think the case could be made for that.
because I would like that. Oh, so
Yeah.
this bad table turned out to be pretty deep.
All right, we're gonna keep this one.
Okay. So
Hi-ho.
Manhandle
Hi-ho.
ladies,
And
wheelbarrows.
off to work we go.
unloading all the carts, you are only able to manage about a third of the total cargo between the two carts into one load for each of you of wheel carts.
Let's hire some help.
I mean,
I will
tired are
steal
we?
from a box and hire help.
That's actually a good idea.
So the guy directing things is still like within sight of you.
I mean, shouldn't we see
sir?
where this all gets put first? At least on the first trip?
Well,
You-
if
We're
we
also
keep
leaving
leaving
something.
here, I don't want to leave all this treasure here.
You were told, okay, you don't have a full map. You were told the final destination. Yeah, I gotta ask you guys to ignore some amount of map that you can see. In character, you do not know offhand what the final destination of everything is. You have a general idea that it's supposed to go to another place of the city to be loaded onto new carts in order to continue. You know the name of that place, but you don't have geographical referencing to really know
So
more.
it could help us anyways to have hired help who at least knows the direction and knows the city and knows where we're supposed to go.
Yeah,
That's possible.
You said we saw people with wheelbarrows. Could we just follow them to the location?
That's what I was thinking.
Like it from another cart?
We could follow them.
I don't want to come back here. I don't want to make multiple trips and have to come back here and prolong
And
us
risk
meeting
getting
our
caught.
contacts and risk getting caught in any of these. If we're with a bunch of people who know their way around here and look like they know what they're doing, we have a better chance of blending in.
Yeah. All right.
I will try to sneakily open a box and take out just a good chunk of coin. Close it.
Oh, make a stealth check.
Juno, you should let me do this.
Oh, that's a really bad roll for me. That's only an 11. I should have guided myself first.
Okay.
I have okay stealth. It's
One of
okay.
my chat cleric things is burned,
Uh-oh.
and the guy directing things notices you and says, "Oi, steal it from the horde."
Nope, I was just making sure this was the correct box.
Deception check.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Uh-oh.
He's gonna walk right up to you and whisper to you, "I know we're a bunch of thieves and crooks, eh? But there's no need to lie to me. See? Do you need help with hiring the help? Yes or no?
no. Yes.
Thank you." And he'll reach into his pocket, pull out a quick handful of coins, beckon over to a few more people with the wheelbarrows. I'm just gonna call them wheelbarrows. Flip a coin to each, and just non-verbally nod and point to your carts, and just kind of non-verbally direct all of them to start helping out.
So, question: would I have potentially heard him say the word horde?
Yes.
Okay. Can I?
you
I
can
think he
make
yelled that
a-
be at me.
Oh.
He yelled that across
he
because
did
I
yell
was.
that. So all of you would have heard that. But as far as like discerning if it had any meaning, you would have to make a check.
I would love to vibe check that if I could.
Okay, you can make an insight check.
All right.
Hi, princess.
That
Did
was
you hear her? Oh my god.
Oh,
She's a
yeah.
little loud.
What is with these natural ones? I've made 2 rolls tonight, and
This
both of them
happens to you
have
all
been
the time.
natural ones.
You just
Real
need the
dice.
reflex. stop with roll 20.
It hurts me. I have a +5 to insight.
Come here. Come here.
You know what?
Yeah, I
Sorry.
felt pretty poopy about my +6 to stealth too. It's rough, man.
Okay, so Aster, I don't want to ignore your passive. When you think about it, nothing really. It's like they couldn't have, maybe. But when it was first said, it gives you this sense of like, wait, because you specifically have experience with dragons. Or at least some knowledge of them, as well as a certain phrase that was uttered to you just 2 days ago. So there's like enough advantage there that even with that, even before you miserably fail a check, something is off about that statement.
Okay. Yeah, before he heads off from Juno, then while he's like still kind of like away from people and stuff, Aster will walk up and be like, "Sorry again to bother you. This is the last thing, I promise. Where exactly in the city are we supposed to be taking this?"
All the way through Black Gate. Next set of carts, eh?
Okie dokie. Any like particular like name of the place so we know for sure, or is it just one straight path the entire way?
Tell you what, just follow those blokes, eh?
Sounds good.
He's just gonna point to like another group of hired help that's sort of already ahead of you, while your hired help is in the midst of unloading your carts.
Cool. All right, and she will do that. She'll like relay to each of the people, or each of the party members quietly what we're doing, and that they will probably lead us to the right spot.
Just like whispering between us. I know he yelled at us earlier, and it was kind of terrifying, but he seems kind of nice.
Yeah, he does. I almost want to help him. Almost.
I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere near that like actual horde or anything. So, worst comes to worst, we take the root of the problem, and he'll just be here doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ideally, I would like to not come back here and converse with him again. You just see like sweat start to drip down Juno's face, who's normally very like cool, calm, and collected. She's just like, social situations.
Anyway, they're on their way. I think we should follow them before we lose them.
Yes, I agree.
And we go.
I forgot about this. Niffer, the DC is
Yes, thank you.
12.
Great. That's fine. I've rolled above it every time.
Okay.
I've been rolling for myself, being like, well, that's a high number. I'm probably fine to talk right now.
Okay.
Yep,
So,
thank you.
given the expanse that you can see and that which you can't, as you start drawing your carts, or wheel carts that is, through the pathway into South's Foot and turning right into what is on the map, the north, you can see to your left, the south, the same pathway leads to a small cluster of buildings like in between. It's like a small valley down here that leads to actually a bridge across the river. And way, way, way off in the distance, you can see another small cluster of buildings on the other side of it. This is part of the Baldur's Gate conglomerate, we'll say, where the land on both sides can meet across the river with this bridge structure. You can see way, way, way off, like tiny ants a bunch of people also with wheel carts sort of buzzing across both ways. Even though it is at the sort of twilight hour at this point, it's just as busy as anything you've seen to this point. You can also see a small cluster, and every once in a while, like a single boat, small clusters of boats here and there, and every once in a while another single boat passing from east to west. You know that there is a harbor of some sort in Baldur's Gate, so you can reasonably assume that these are boats that are likely coming back to or coming to for the first time from east to west, the harbor in Baldur's Gate. The buzz of the day for this city is starting to slow, but by your standards is still very busy. And you start to take your wheel carts through the main road that you can see on the western edge of Sowsfoot at the bottom of this hill. The only road as you get to the point that everybody starts turning north. And you're just starting to travel through this slum area. Everybody needs to make an athletics check, please.
I'm so good at these.
I'm not good at these.
Oh no! Natural 1, which is...
Tell you what, I'm gonna use my +2 to at least make that an 11.
I mean, technically it's a 2, but it's a natural 1. So...
I rolled a 16.
Hyacinth, with your modifier, what is that total?
2. I could
Ouch.
use a +2, but I don't think it'll save me.
Probably not.
You can make your choice before you know the outcome.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna go, these muscles are for show.
Okay, so
We know.
you'd all actually notice that as you get onto this, what you can surmise is the only main road available, if you can call it a main road. Everything is actually very slippery. It's pretty slick. And as you get farther and farther north, you'd notice every once in a while there's like a grate off to the side of this not quite road, but as close as you can get from what you can see. And farther still toward, on the map, Whitkeep and Little Calamshan, a sort of, you know, if you couldn't tell any better, it would look like an irrigation, like a micro irrigation system along the sides of the road. And as you go, it just stays really, really slick. You'd also notice that the road is super narrow, not even wide enough to fit 2 individual carts wide. So anytime someone is coming the other direction, one or the other has to like scoot off to the side of the road so that the other can pass, and then you can continue. And there's just enough of a berth on either side, like if you were to go to single file, there's a little bit of wiggle room on either side of you as any one of you is traveling your carts down this road. I'm going to move you guys to here.
It's conveniently a battle map.
Let's scoot this down a little bit. And it's been about 30 minutes between the difficulty of the terrain that is this road and not knowing exactly what you're going. The one saving grace has been the fact that it's basically been one way and you're following other cartwheelers along their path. And a few at this point are actually going to just like pull their carts to the side of the road, park for a second, and hop into a little tavern and come out with like a small, very, very small cup of, well, make your assumptions as you will, but they'll just pound it, toss the cups aside, and then keep rolling.
My God, this is like a fitness beer mile, but with like wheelbarrow walks. Which, like, I am physically sitting here going, like, this would suck. I've done 2 competitions with wheelbarrows, and it is awful. And now we're on a shitty road Oh,
Now you have to RP that.
my lads are RPing it right now by seizing and tensing up as we're talking.
Yep.
Whole back is just like ready to die.
Got too real.
Do you think it's a requirement that we drink and throw the mug? Or it's
No.
just what they like to do?
Only a few of them did it. That is noteworthy.
Gotcha.
Take from that what you will.
You're probably fine.
I'm
Was it
probably
a few
bad
of
enough-
them wearing robes like us, or was it just kind of like not culty vibes?
It was a mix of both.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a mix of both.
I think I might be bad enough without being drunk, so I'm just gonna keep
Yeah.
going.
I think that's for the best. I'm
Okay.
gonna keep going.
I agree.
Who's leading from our group?
I will.
Uh,
I'm still the tallest.
as we
Most
start to get
like-
ready to go, I run up and give you a kiss on the cheek and cast guidance on you.
Now I have black. I'm dark now.
Oh,
Got
I did not
darkness
think
now.
about that.
Says
The
that's
aura
why
is
it's good.
transferred.
Expanding. Is it so? If it's transmittable, does that mean it goes to a person and
Yes.
it's just them now, or is it all of us? Like we're
It's
just kind of
all of you.
spreading an STD.
Yeah, it's an STD.
STD.
Magical STD.
It's a magical STD for sure.
Hell yeah! Now it's real
in
dark
the-
in our party.
It's in the name, STD.
Funny
Well, I
that the
wanted to
bard is
guide
the one
you.
without it. Just saying.
You're welcome for guidance.
Like
Yeah,
going to a
thank
Greek
you.
restaurant and throwing your plate on the ground when they do. That's pretty funny.
So anyways, I have guidance and also darkness. Thank you.
Okay.
I accept the kiss and don't realize that it means that the darkness is around, and then I look down, I'm like, oh.
Oops. But also, this is a really great vibe.
Ulta is going to pipe up with, so not a shadow, definitely still shadowless. Cool.
Well, we'll know once this leaves, if it ever leaves, because now none of us have shadows.
Can I look at where Ulta is and see if the cart has a shadow, but she still doesn't?
Thank you for the raid.
Just like a
Oh,
technicality
it's an
thing.
RP.
Or if the cart also doesn't have a shadow now.
Make an investigation check. Also,
Good.
shout out to Infinite RP. Thanks to the raid, guys. Hope you had a good stream. We are in the midst of the early Tyranny of Dragons campaign. This one being with a hefty amount of homebrew, but still based on the official campaign. And we are at Baldur's Gate. Figuring out
And-
how to get through. You guys are basically posing as part of the cult at this point, just transporting your goods through the city.
Mhm.
So,
Very normal cultist.
just another day in the life. Yeah.
Natural 9 for investigation.
Woo!
Okay. Yep. It's really hard for you to tell. You're really focused on. Where's the light coming from, and there's where shadow should be, but there's this whole circle of dark, as if covered in shadow, around everybody except Aster at this point.
Not me either.
Aster and Icarus.
Oh, Aster and yourself. Okay.
See.
Yeah. But you're carting along, and as you go, you see just group after group after group of downtrodden, dirty. If you didn't know better, they might be homeless. Groups of people just sort of along the road, looking at you, not really saying anything. Maybe one every once in a while, like holds out a hand, like you might give something to them, but watches you pass by. It's clear that this entire area that you've been traveling through to this point is like, for lack of a better phrase for it or word for it, like a slum. very poor, downtrodden area, and the group of people that you encountered that first brought up the carts and like haggled for coins to transport stuff in the first place is the attempt at anybody trying to make any sort of money or living at this point in the city. And you're going to get to about here after another hour. Is there anything else that you guys want to be trying to do outside of moving your carts?
Offer one person on the side of the road my hand and be like, "Traveler, bless you," and just keep walking.
They have darkness down now.
Oh my god, no.
I don't
We
have
can-
darkness.
I know,
could-
but still.
We could get
Not
the
yet.
whole city. We could get the whole city with this.
Oh my gosh, we're plague upon this city.
Oh, I didn't
We-
think about
God.
We are the plague.
The implication. I hate it. I hate
We
it.
could literally cause a citywide blackout.
Oh boy.
So
Anyways,
where we are, like along the stretch of road, do any of the people look like they are just like begging for money or anything, or are people peddling wares? Like, what is the situation? What does it kind of look like?
So this would be in passing unless you stop. The best description I can give you is that it's just the occasional like hand outstretched, and then they retract as you pass, and then as another person passes, they stretch their hands out and like follow, just straight up hands out, no verbal communication. That's
Okay.
it.
In that case, Aster will cast Goodberry and just kind of put a berry in each of the people's hands as we go down
Okay.
the way and just keep walking.
Okay, so you would notice after a few that you're actually drawing some attention.
Oh.
Do you want to do anything about that?
What kind of attention is that bringing?
So I'm using your passive for this.
Okay.
You do it once and it feels good. You do it again, and like I'm just using your past athletics checks because you're kind of moving, right? You're moving in this caravan of individual wheel carts full of cargo, and then every once in a while you stop for even just a second to cast this spell and put a berry in someone's hand. And maybe you have a few left after the first cast, right? So it doesn't take quite as long for the next few to just like plop a berry in their hand. But then after a little while, you have to cast it again to start putting it in their hands.
This is
again.
a first level spell that's just the one, and it makes up to 10 just in one cast.
Okay, so are you doing just the one?
Just doing just the one instead of like 10
Okay,
people
so
along the line.
and you were not the first one in the line, right? Between the five of you? Where were you in the
That's
lineup?
probably in the middle somewhere.
Okay, so I believe Eliseo actually was in front, right? So
Yeah.
Eliseo, after maybe about halfway, 3/4 of the way toward this gate, this new walled area in front of you, you'd notice that like the line behind you is starting to lag a little bit. You'd notice that the people in front of you are just like full steam ahead. They don't even glance back. But when you look back, you notice there's a widening gap with Aster, like even as quickly as you're trying to hand them off, you're handing off these berries. And then Aster, you would actually notice, even with just your passive, like the people behind you that are not in your party are actually kind of confused, borderline irritated.
Okay, if people if they look like they are about to say something, she's just gonna kind of keep going then and not worry about handing stuff out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll slow down just so that our party doesn't get separated, and just try and make sure it's not too obvious of a big gap or anything. Just kind of make eye contact with you, like, you good?
Good.
Okay, and Hyacinth at one point, or Icarus in character, Icarus, at one point you almost lose your footing on one of the. There's like a downhill slope just on the outskirt of this increased cluster, right at the what I'll call the actual front wall / gate of Baldur's Gate here. And you gotta like stable yourself and take a second and then get back to it. You don't lose anything, but you make a notable break in the formation, and then when that happens, the people behind you again are just like, hey, come on, man. On your feet, keep it going.
Sorry, I'm new here. And just keeps going.
All right, so you guys arrive at a much more significant front wall. More fortified than the one that you had originally come to from the eastern roadway. And at this point, you can actually see on the map there the circles represent small sort of watchtowers, and the lines between them are walkway accommodated walls. So you see patrols going across each section, at least one patrol person going each way, heavily armored, flags posted up at each tower, even for basically what is almost nighttime at this point. We're getting toward the end of twilight, and all of you will need to make a Constitution save.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I guide myself on this? Hold on.
You can.
Is
Does
that how it works?
does my guidance still work from my beautiful wife?
It only lasts a minute.
Just kidding.
I'm gonna be humming in my head and inspire myself.
Oh, it's for
And
ability
I
checks.
will
I can't use
also-
it for this.
It's
That's
not.
fine.
Oh, I didn't need to. Okay.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
How many is it gonna take? One.
Because of that, I am going to roll some
Natural
click clacks.
I got a 23. Did you
I
both
got-
roll ones?
I got a 15 total. The 13.
Okay. So Aster and Eliseo, you are now suffering first level exhaustion.
Great. That's fine.
The rest of you are powering through it, but damn, it's hard. And Ulta, it would be noticeable at this point that for you it's a little bit more of a struggle than everybody else. Only by a little bit, but your size is working against you at this point. But you're okay for now. So you get through the front gates of the main city now, with a small handful of guards at the towers and at the base of the road, or the base of the towers at the road, sort of like looking and nodding at each of you and the people in front of you and the people behind you as you run in. And you're still following this sort of power walking line through a now thicker district of markets and inns and this crazy grouping of people all over the place. You can see for the first time, notably in your time in this campaign so far, dragonborn, elves, half-elves, dwarves, humans, and every mix of everything in between, just bustling every direction. There are a handful of drunks in any direction you look, just being belligerent and partying and having a good time hanging out. There are small clusters of people that seem to be finishing off the tail end of business meetings. There are several outdoor like patio areas with people having the tail end of their meal, having an ale, having another drink, and everything in between. There's every manner of social situation, business situation, trade happening. it's just an absolute social cluster in this area. And nobody seems to really even give you a second glance as this pilot line of there's at least 10 people in front of you and another 10 to 15 people behind you, and you guys stuck in the middle, just wheel carting goods through the town.
Seems weird.
I don't
Juno
want
will
to.
stay in line.
Okay. I don't want to just
Yeah.
like full stop and say, what do you guys do? But is there anything you guys would like to try to observe or do or figure out as you're on your way through after your first bout with potential exhaustion?
Be as nondescript as possible.
Pretty much. I'm just gonna keep my head down and try to get through it.
Yep. And just try and not give any rants about bean production.
Okay.
We're all tired, apparently.
Yep.
You're more tired. Haha, exhausted almost.
I still passed the con save, so I can tell you to shut up.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a reason for us to stop and I guess look at folks right now.
No.
I mean, maybe Juno would keep an eye out for like anyone that looks like they're a part of the Harpers. Like if there was any like symbols for that, or if she saw any symbols for any of the groups, or like someone wearing an emblem or like a sigil, or not a sigil, a crest or something like that. Like Unthar like proudly wore his armor with a big ol'
Right.
fist on it. So looking for something, or a gauntlet, I guess. But keeping an eye out for any of the orders that they previously talked about.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
No, I'm dumb.
Aren't you good at those though? With your
Actually,
elf, or is that just
No, intelligence is a dumb stat.
okay?
Let's make it perception. You're on the move, so
Oh,
let's
heck
make it
yeah.
perception. Yeah.
I'm better at that. +7. Pew! 16 plus 7, 23.
Ulta would also, she wouldn't be looking for everybody. She would just be looking for Lord's Alliance because she's kind of a selfish brat. So, just being honest.
I mean, yes, we all have our flaws. Juno was a total jerk to the man that they met, so
Okay, so you got a 20,
23.
24?
Yeah.
Okay.
23.
You don't notice any of the faction symbols. However, amongst the various crowds of people, and I'm going to re-emphasize in this, especially since you crossed the wall, the crowds of people both A, got more dense, and B, seemed to significantly increase in class. You would notice at this juncture, for the first time, covered palanquins. And those are being transported by people in the very same robes that you are wearing.
Sorry, what was that second word? Palanquins?
Palanquin, it's like a covered
Palanquin.
Litters.
palanquin. Sorry.
No, you're
Like,
fine.
imagine a wagon that instead of being carried by wheels
Yep.
is people
Yep.
Like an avatar.
carrying. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it on the internet.
The vibe I'm getting is that these are the patrons of the Horde of the Dragon Queen, so they're like the dragon cult nobles, which is my head is like, remember those faces? We might have to kill them later.
Would I remember any of those faces already?
Yeah, I think, like, if Juno saw what were to be fancy people, she would definitely be keeping an eye out for someone that looked like Purple Angie And
Yep. Purple mad.
Purple Man.
Mad.
And just kind of, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So really like looking out for either like that purple armor, or if like any of the cultists are wearing like any of like even small hints of purple too, to like symbol that they could work for this person, because they know that this person was of a higher rank. Or
Okay.
if for some reason Blue Angie was here too. Blue Wrath. Cyan Wrath.
Cyan Wrath and Purple Mad.
Yeah, but that was his real name. So
Yeah. Sorry, Ponderosa. Is that guy?
Ponderosa.
That guy.
Like if there's anyone that looks like they would support either of those two, which I know is like kind of hard to gather from just looking, but I'm definitely like checking in for the highest ranks we know of now to be inside of those Palinkins.
So you, Juno, specifically, nobody, like, okay. Juno, you made the check, you're looking for something specifically, and you saw what I've described already. You, and only you, have better vision than most.
Especially because it's nighttime.
Especially because it's the beginning of nighttime now. So I'm not going to make everybody else take off their headsets or anything, but Juno and only Juno can see with your 23 that these groups of people that are out in the open carrying these palanquins. Wait, is that the word? Palanquin?
Yep.
Okay.
That is the way it is phonetically spelt on the internets.
Like, you can just barely tell from their robes that they're wearing the same robes as the cultists you've seen to this point. They don't have any other discernible traits other than the fact that they're human. Like, that's it. You're just barely noticing the robes. And that's it.
Okay. So they just kind of, they look like everyone else?
Yeah.
For the most part? Okay. I want to know what's in the palanquins. Or who. But I will stay in line and keep my head down and just glance. And glance. You know, kind of like people who, like chicken head when they see a car accident on the side of the road. Like, that's me. I'm like, oh, fancy people. What?
Okay. All right. This is a good point, I think, to take one more brief break. And come back to figuring out what's happening with the traverse through the city of Baldur's Gate. We'll be right back.
Salad with bread bowl. Man, I could go for a bread bowl right now. Calzone makes sense.
Yep,
Everything's
and
all.
We're live. And we're live.
Okay. Hi, everyone go to the cube rule and
Hey.
check out the dimensions of bread.
Oh, it's not even pizza though. It's toast.
Oh, it's toast.
Pizza is
Sorry.
toast.
Pizza is toast with
Pizza
toppings.
is toast. Correct.
We need to
Anywho.
stop.
Anyways.
Hey everybody, we're back. Traversing through Baldur's Gate with carts full, individual carts full, I should say, of cargo from our horse-drawn carts. Coming here from El Turel and unloading with a bunch of hired help and a sort of whirlwind of semi-organization at the edge of the city. And now we're in the thick of it. So, you guys would notice that the line keeps on moving. There's this even more dense cluster of people, but you have noted that it's higher class than the slums outside of the walls that you've just passed through. And the line that you're following leads to the northwest. What do you do?
Onward, we march.
Yep, we go with the flow.
Yep.
Okay.
Go next. Ask questions. Just traverse.
Act casual.
Just roll casual.
Act casual. Okay.
Fly casual, but with wheelbarrows. Roll casual.
So you get to about here. You have. I'm gonna try to actually like draw the line.
I will say I was not really looking for like, oh, the Harpers or oh, the Lord's Alliance, but they are looking for just, okay, here's how we got to this part of the city, like landmarks and stuff in case they need to get back.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to
That's fine.
freehand draw in red, so it's obvious. There was like the one road around the outskirts of the city that came to this point, but you guys had to follow. Whoops. Well, you busted through some buildings apparently.
Yeah, we did.
You had to follow a specific path after getting through the front gate to get here. Okay,
That's
so
the pub crawl route that we took.
That's roughly the path that you took to get to this point. And actually, you get to about here, passing through one set of gates with that's guarded, into a very small courtyard area. With a couple of guards taking a quick glance at you and the cargo you're carrying, but they do the same with everybody in front of you and everybody behind you, so nothing was really out of place with the procedure, seemingly. And you end up into this opening into another small slum sort of area, but with one small cluster of buildings. I'll draw a circle around it. Right, oh, it's gonna be a box right here that a few people of noticeably better clothing, higher stature, and seem to be directing other people in different directions, that the people in front of you, the cartwheelers in front of you, sort of stop at. I'm gonna move the map here for the stream. There we go. They sort of, what did I say? 5, 10 carts in front of you sort of like plop their carts right at the inner area of this box and slunk down to take a seat and rest. Maybe have some water out of their own water skins and such. And everything sort of stops at that point.
Master will gladly take a seat and rest. She is tired.
Yeah, Juno's kind of standing near her party members who are taking a seat right now, but like trying to drop some eaves on the fancy people. Yeah, drop some eaves on the fancy people nearby.
Oh my god. Okay.
Thank you, Samwise Gamgee.
You made me snort, corn dog. I gotta commend you for that. All right. You would, before even putting any sort of significant effort into it, you would notice a small group, 3 or 4 people, leading the sort of direction of park here, unload there. There are a couple of small groups, again, of people just like at the beginning. Small groups of people sort of helping out with, by hand and foot, unloading the wheel carts and walking farther northwest along the little bit of beaten path there is left. And one man, the only human actually among them, with a long trimmed beard and a clean goatee, is sort of directing everybody else. Hey there. Yeah, let's get that over here. Oh, you can fit
no.
just scooting in right there, eh? Hey, you guy,
no.
come on down there, eh? I think you can squeeze that cart in here there, eh? Hey, I think you could use some water. Okay, yeah, let's keep her moving, huh?
Oh sure, thanks very much.
You're from Canada, eh?
Like how you guys say
sorry.
Canadian, but like in my brain I was like, these are lake people.
Yeah.
You're in Minnesota.
You're in Minnesota. I'm in Wisconsin. So.
Yep. You know lake people. You know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Hey there, how we doing?
Hey there. How we doing?
Sure.
Oh, hey there.
So was that even directed at us, or was that just
Anyways.
eavesdropped by Juno?
We've
I
gotten
mean, maybe
completely
one or
sidetracked.
two of those would have been directed at you, but he's just generically scanning across all of the people and carts that are in front of, within, and behind you guys, and just trying to direct traffic en masse at this point.
I'm just gonna act tough, like I'm not tired at all, and wait for specific directions because I do not act on my own.
How long does this spell last? Up to an hour. Okay. I'm gonna do something stupid.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You go, baby.
I'm gonna make a new friend.
Please.
I'm
use
going
the
to make
same
a
accent.
fast friend, actually, which is a spell I'm casting. And I'm gonna go talk to this new buddy of mine.
I need
Hey there,
both
guy.
of you. I need
Hey there.
both of you to use this accent now.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Fast friend. Is this
I shall.
a spell or a feat?
It's a spell. You think
spell.
I took a feat in friendship?
I would.
I would not. I hate people. That's Juno. Courtney actually loves people.
Oh. I
Oh.
was like, that's a mood for Niffer.
Wait,
I just hate
what is
Here,
the
let me-
exact spell?
It was supposed to drop it
You
in,
bitch.
but it didn't. Here we go. I'm gonna bloop. Nope. I'm using a different type of computer. Hold, please.
You got this.
I don't. It's fine.
I believe in you.
Copy. Paste. Wisdom saving throw. And you said he's human, right? So humans can be charmed. And I am so charming.
Yeah,
Right,
you
what-
are.
Stop it.
What is this spell name?
Fast friends.
Best friend.
What the heck? I typed that in.
Is it from like?
Oh,
And
I must have
Is it
typed it.
from Acquisitions Incorporated? Because it sounds like from Acquisitions Incorporated.
I don't know. I took it for myself.
I know it is a newer spell. Cause it's like Charm Person Plus.
Fast Friends is from Acquisitions Incorporated.
Basically, I just want to be able to, talk with him and ask him how he got his job and like what his job entails and figure out kind of like if his job is just directing it, like how do I learn how to direct it? And just kind of the test that I would give him would be like, teach me how to do your job or like what your job is
Here,
what
I
I'm
wanna
trying
be
to.
Okay,
be a
I'm gonna
traffic
have you
controller.
make.
I just think he's so charismatic.
Betcha.
Juno, make a perception check at advantage.
Yeet! Sorry for yelling.
I'm just so excited.
I'm just so excited. 19 plus 7. 26.
Okay, so you cast the spell, and you notice that this guy sort of like pauses. You know Midwesterners, right? We talk with our
Yes.
hands a lot. Talk with our hands a lot.
Hold out.
Okay, he's directing, he's talking. Hey there, guy, how you doing? Hey, go this way. Hey, come in, tuck it in right here, eh? And
Feel
it
like I'm
takes-
at Wee Fest.
takes a verbal and physical pause that you definitely notice at the moment you cast the spell. And then he just keeps on going, and he looks at you and says, "Hey, you there, come on in, tuck her in here, eh? We're gonna unload, you're gonna be on your way, but you might want to take a drink tonight. It's unseasonably nice tonight. It's usually rainy, but hey, we get lucky once in a while."
Heck is yelling and doing things, and I don't know what it means.
Heck has some things to say.
I know
about
what it
that.
means. What,
Yes, you do.
did
Yes,
Aster
you do.
did Aster hear that?
Did any of us?
All of you would have heard that.
Oh, lordy.
Hold on.
Babe, you forgot your parasol.
Wait a minute. No, that's the fun note that we
Yeah.
got.
Babe.
Yeah.
Babe,
yeah.
you forgot your parasol.
But
Oh gosh. I reach into the wheelbarrow that I had and pull out my parasol.
There you go.
yeah, good thing we always carry our parasol just in case, huh?
Hey, smart thinking there, guys. Hey, well, you five over there, I think you're all set. And he's talking to the group in front of you. I think you're all set. And he's gonna flip coins to each of them from a small pouch, like in his robe pocket, and dismiss them. And they don't even give a second glance. They take their coins and they're off. Featherfall.
Thanks for the raid.
Hey, thanks for the raid,
GG.
guys. And then he's going to look at you, Juno, and give a wink.
Oh, like an
And then-
obvious one.
And then
I'm
yes,
guessing.
an obvious wink. And
Obvious
and then
Midwestern wink.
off to the guys behind you and say, "Hey, you're all set. Hey, have a drink. You did good today. Hey, guys, take a load off. Have a cold one. Take it on me. It's all good. Just have a good night, eh? Get back at it tomorrow."
Oh, you
And then he's
betcha.
gonna look at you guys and say, "Come on in."
I give him a wink wonk. Wink.
We made it so many sessions.
Damn
without
it!
a
You
wink
are
walk.
going to make a wink walk canon.
I'm here for it.
I hate it.
I support it.
I do
would
it because I'm so bad at winking. I need to make it goofy to like make up for the fact that I can't wink. Icarus is just so good at winking that he just needs to play it up, you know?
I would like to use my maximum damage melee hit now, please. On him.
I mean, go ahead.
Yep,
It's
cool.
it's now a combat session.
Yep, it is PvP.
I attempt to block it as I see the vigor that you're going in with.
I just go to like smack you on the back of the head.
Like, that
Denozo.
means he gets shadow too.
No!
Oh!
No!
You gave him shadow. Oh no.
Not the MTD.
Magically transmitted disease or magically transmitted darkness.
Ultra's going
Uh-oh.
to
Wait,
just
I'm
raise
not
her
seeing
tiny
the
little
roll.
hands, like
I'm sorry. It was an accident.
I mean, there is healing in chat now that
There
Icarus
is.
could take.
Yeah, great.
How much
You've
damage do
taken-
I take?
You take 3 points of damage because it's 1 plus my strength,
Okay.
and then you get an MTD.
I still do my best to look tough because I am going to do this roll well.
Good. Does the darkness like give us any sort of disadvantage or anything, or does it just make us look suspicious?
It's mostly just a aura around you thing, so
Great.
could make you look suspicious.
I mean, it is nighttime, so maybe it will look less suspicious.
It
now
did
that it's dark.
happen at the start of Twilight, basically, so
Okay.
that's where I've been going with it.
So,
All right. Well,
we-
I'll follow him to where he said, like, come with me or go in here.
Yep.
Question for above the table: is this the bad guy we were supposed to talk to, or is this?
No, this is
No,
the good
this is
guy.
our contact.
This is
Their contact, okay.
Cinnabon.
Oh, phew.
This is Cinnabon, yeah.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to find him separately than doing bad things.
Yeah, why is he doing it?
Might be a
I don't know.
mole for
We can
them.
follow him
That's
and
true.
find
Yep.
out.
You're
Gotta
gonna have to
find
find out.
cinnamon
Fucking
roll
Yep.
We were like,
So
which
don't
do we
get
do
Cinnabon.
first? But we do both.
at the
Look at
same
us.
time. Oh,
We're
thank goodness.
multitasking.
Okay, give me the real name though.
Akin Celebon.
Okay.
I actually
Cinnabon.
don't know the real name anymore.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of this.
Yeah,
the
I know.
whole passphrase thing was with that name.
With Celebon, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, Parasol, Parasol, say it now.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
took me a second once I saw Heck freaking out, and then I sat there and like I realized what he was saying, and I was like,
Yep. Action
Still didn't get
Celadon,
it.
Human
Had to
male
check
Blackgate
old notebook
trader.
notes.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
it. It's like 2 pages back.
So who has already suffered exhaustion?
Me.
Show of hands. Just you two?
Mhm.
Okay. Everybody needs to make another Constitution save at this
Boy.
point.
I am going to bless the 2 who are already exhausted and
9 at
myself.
20.
Okay.
Well, I said that before I knew your roll, and I would have had to anyways.
18. I don't know if it went through. It did not. Okay.
There we go.
20. Dirty 20.
18.
Ooh, good rolls, everybody.
Constitution save?
Plus 3.
Yes.
27.
23.
Nice. Okay. So 15 or better, you are okay. 14 or lower, you suffer 1 additional point of exhaustion on top of if you had one before. If it was 0, you're not at 1. You're now at 1. And you follow this person into one of the smaller. We're in this area. One of the smaller, sort of like 10 by 10 vibe huts out of this small cluster of buildings that has a little bit more activity than the rest of the city before you and behind you, and definitely significantly more than the overall slum area that you've got around you outside of the gate and outside of the wall. And he's going to look to you and say, well, I'm glad my buddy over there, Arthar's got good communication skills. Hey?
My gosh, is he a part of the Order of the Gauntlet?
He is.
Okay. I'm gonna sit with that knowledge.
Anthar who? Wink wonk.
Are you trying to be facetious or communicate a
just-
hidden message?
Facetious, like, we're being subtle. I don't know him. That's facetious, right?
Okay, yeah, you can make a persuasion check or deception check.
Oh, okay, cool. I rolled really poorly. That's a 4 plus 7 is 11.
Okay.
Cat's upset too.
We can
My
hear
little
that.
baby. I'm
Even
so
the cat
sorry.
didn't like the wink wonk.
So everyone always tells me they can't hear her on my mic, and then all of a sudden today you all can. So I have no idea. Maybe it's Zoom versus Discord or something. I'm not sure.
Maybe
Could
it's
be.
everyone just being polite. This is the real world.
She's so talkative.
Your
I'm
cat
so
is
sorry.
loud. Anywho, okay, so he's gonna close the door behind you and say, Anthar send you to a Kessin, yes? No, that's not the name. Fuck.
I guess and tried to kill us.
Akin.
Oh yeah, I was like,
Akin.
who's a Kessin?
Akin.
Akin? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Akin Celeban.
That's
That's his
Cinnamon's
first name.
Celeban.
Are you Akin?
Even I'm getting the names wrong.
Listen, we're all tired.
I'm just fine.
So you're gonna thwart the plans of this old cult that's behind you, eh?
Hopefully.
The goal.
Are you Akin?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I
Insight
insight check
check.
that? Because he's asking questions very mysteriously, honestly. I'm like,
Okay, you can insight check that.
Can I also do it as he yelled it too?
17,
Absolutely. He's
Plus-
talking to just you guys now.
3,
Inside
is
his little
20,
hut.
plus 2 is 22.
27.
I'm using my plus 2. Oh my goodness, why'd you have
Because
that?
I roll with advantage.
I used
Yep.
my plus
Because
2
of
to
who
get
I
that
am.
22. You
I'm so
outdid
proud of
me.
you.
Oh, that was a natural 20. Holy
Natural 20, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I am reading my fellow Midwesterner inside and out.
If he's a Midwesterner and you're a Midwesterner and we're twins, that makes me a Midwesterner.
We also know you are a Midwesterner.
Time
Oh.
to switch accents.
That makes you
This
guilty
many
by
episodes
association
into the
at
campaign.
best.
And we are a forgiving sort as Midwesterners, so.
So about that vibe check, eh?
Hey, as long as you are true to you and have some beer, that's it.
It's all
That's
good
you
here.
need.
All you need.
If you don't like beer,
It's
you just
okay.
bring what you want to drink, eh?
You get that ginger ale.
So yeah, you would definitely notice that he dropped his guard as soon as the door was closed behind all of you.
Is this a safe place for us to talk? And Juno's just gonna kind of like look for any open windows or anything like that.
It will be for a few minutes, just enough time for me to give you your further directions.
Directions. I pull out a notebook in character.
Okay.
I do too.
It's in our business that the more we know, the more dangerous the game gets, eh?
Yep.
Yep.
You could
I'm
say
sure,
that again.
sure you've been through your bout of dangers. And actually, Aster and Ulta, he's gonna be looking at you guys with like this sort of confusion and say, did we switch sides, guys, or are we just recruiting better?
We're recruiting better. And we're not limiting our recruitment to stereotypes.
No, I think the.
Hey, whoa, hey, didn't mean nothing by it. Hey, it's cool. As far as I'm concerned, more people means better cause, right? No judgment here, just new sights to me. So, what's your story? I'm genuinely curious.
Don't we only have a few minutes? Shouldn't we
in-
get
in
the actual
this-
assignments?
In this city, they're a new site to you? Okay. Sure.
I think it's question. Was he making kind of like a pointed comment about having a shifter and a kobold in our group, or was it these don't look like Harpers? Like, because I personally, above the table, I read that as, oh, we got a racist mother in the group, and like I gotta tell him.
Okay, no. I'm
Okay.
gonna respond to that above the table because that's not the impression I tried to give.
Yep, just wanted to
You-
clarify that and not roleplay on something that wasn't the case.
Yeah, so you would have actually seen reasonably that the grouping of people hired to haul shit from point A to point B was 100% human until you guys came aboard. So, with Niffer being disguised and Hyacinth being passable enough as human without disguise, even with disguise.
I am disguised.
Oh,
I am
you-
human right
Yeah.
now.
Okay,
You
so you're
look
fully
like a human.
disguised. But like Aster as a druid, just by overall demeanor and look and style, and then Ulta, even with the attempted disguise, like he
I
saw
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
So no, I'm gonna just DM like
Okay. Thank you for
what do you call that?
clarifying.
Plot armor that.
Thank you.
There's not like a racist thing going on with this guy. He's genuinely
All of us
interested.
immediately were like ready to fight for it. Like, no, this is
He's
our
ready to
friends.
throw hands. No, he's genuinely interested in like, oh, this is different. What's the story?
Okay.
Oh, well, hi, Aster here. I'm just here representing the Emerald Enclave. We're all kind of working together.
Oh, hey, the Enclave. Hey, I haven't seen anybody since those guys in El Turel. You come from a forest area, from farther, or maybe it was the Woodtooth, Sawtooth something forest. I don't remember the name.
I'm actually from a lot more down south, Cloud Peaks.
Oh, the peaks there, way over there. We had a crazy storm there a couple weeks ago, huh?
crazy storm a couple weeks ago.
Again?
Yeah, way off there in
far
the
down?
east. It passed out to I don't know. It was like past the city line. It looked pretty
Oh.
strong to me. Was it the same area or is it different? I don't know. I don't know anything
Different from
beyond that.
but it's fine. I'm very for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying. It's just making friendlies. Okay.
How did you get your position here, sorting so much for this horde, I guess, or whatever we're supposed to be gathering things
Yeah, well, I
for?
guess you could say I got into talking a little bit and then talking a little bit to some specific people and then talking a lot. So, you know, somebody saw that I could be organized, and then that Leosin guy, he's pretty friendly. He convinced me to, you know, help out a good cause, and you know me, I'm for a good cause, and he gave me some insight into some nefarious activities happening around here, and we're not having that in you know my district of this fine city with all this trade going on. So, you know, I gotta be a guy and help out. So,
But are you helping the cult?
oh no, yeah, we're keeping secret. It looks like I'm helping the cult, but I'm really, you can call me a double agent.
I would like to insight check this double agent comment.
Go ahead.
No, not to try to out insight check my sister.
Yeah,
18.
you have a good feeling that he's actually telling the truth.
Actually, would have beat you that time. I rolled just to check out, but I did. I didn't actually do it though. So, sir, about the update you were supposed to give us that before you got sidetracked into interrogating us.
Oh, you think this is interrogation? No, I'm actually supposed to get some information from you. So, hey, you guy, what's going on?
Oh, I thought you said you were going to update us. That's why I was waiting for that, and it never came. And
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you where you got to go next, but I'm also supposed to get some information on, you know, what happened over there. On your
Like
way
on our
from
journey?
El Turel. Yeah, it's anything happen in between the last city and here? Did you see any cultists?
I mean, we
We're
overtook
literally
some
wearing
cultists.
the cultist robes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he looks pretty good with a needle and thread.
Observe it
So
there.
what? You can tell that just by looking at me.
Man, insight checks are crazy.
I don't even look like me.
oh yeah, you're I get it. You're trying to play it safe. I didn't want to say anything, but I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You
Can
did a
you
good
see
job.
through me?
Well, I can't see through you. I can just tell that you're using some crazy good magic like stuff there to look like that instead of you.
Man, this guy's got true sight or some shit, and we're just like, this.
This
this
guy's
is
giving me
fine.
weird vibes. Every sentence gets further and further from like I trust him.
Yeah. Like I want to, but it's also
So-
like, ooh.
Yes, we took over a caravan, and that's how we got these robes, and that's why we're here. That's kind of all that really happened. It was only like a few days, so.
Oh, you took it over. Hey, so how many guys did you took them on and you beat them up?
Oh yeah,
you
totally
tell me your
killed them
story?
all.
We did not kill them all.
Oh,
Well-
Some actually happened to be merchants and not all cultists. It was a mixed group for some reason.
I was trying to give them the time to like build their own lives.
oh, so they're not all bad, eh?
No.
Man, I kind of figured that might be the case. We see some guys, you know, that you're just trying to make a coin. You know, this city's full of them, and they just want to make an honest living. They just want to, carry everybody else's shit from the slums out to the gate here. You know, this is the only way through. You know, south to north, north to south, east to both ways. Yeah, I'm making myself dizzy just thinking about it. But, you know, somebody's got to help direct the people, and for whatever reason, I'm in charge of that. So I figured I'd just, you know, help out the good guys a little bit. So anywho, you guys look pretty tired. Hey, we got a room here. We can put you in a room for the night, and then I can personally arrange that, you know, some carts. You got cargo. You got cargo to take care of.
Worse than it could. So
Yes.
You didn't say the sound effect to go with it.
not spread wink wonk.
What's the
to
sound
everyone.
effect?
Wink wonk.
Do not spread wink wonk. to this
You
poor
winked at us.
pussy. Do not.
I gave enough of a wink to put myself blind in one eye, so I think that will suffice. Okay, so he'll say, hey, I'll take care of the, tell you what, just point me at the carts that you guys brought in, eh? And I'll take care of that, and they'll be ready for you in the morning. You guys can rest up in the upstairs up here. Hey, have a beer, or not. It's cool, whatever. And all your stuff will be ready for you in the morning. You keep those robes, and nobody will be any the wiser.
Just a question real quick, sir. You still haven't told us the destination you said you were going to tell us.
Oh, it's the big city, Waterdeep.
This isn't the big city?
Yeah.
Oh no,
There's a larger
this
one?
is this whole thing's a slum compared to that.
Juno will just
Oh.
stare at Aster and be like, oh shit.
Ulta, for the first time, is excited. Do you see her weird little, like, lizard face smile? And she's just gonna immediately look down because she doesn't want anyone to see her doing it.
I believe there was someone that we were supposed to contact here aside from you, and Juno will look over to Ulta. Or at least someone that reached out to us that may be here.
The fire dude?
Yeah.
That was Waterdeep, I thought.
Oh, was it Waterdeep? Oh, just kidding. Retract everything I just said. So there's no one else here that we needed to meet at Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I mean...
Nope.
I
We
won't...
kind of killed two birds with one stone.
I will act like I don't need sleep, but I will be glad to take a room and sleep.
Yeah, I have already sat next to Juno and I'm like putting my head on her shoulder because I'm tired.
Okay, let's
I would
go
like
to
to
bed.
keep an eye on where he puts our carts, or at least,
Yeah, because like we have to take our stuff, but we hired other people and stuff to move it. I don't know where it went.
So,
Sorry.
everybody make a perception check.
Ooh.
No.
17...
Oh wait, that's with disadvantage. Hold on, one more.
21.
9?
so
Okay,
DM,
16, not bad.
just if you're looking at my perception check, it's a disadvantage during daylight, and because it's evening, it would be the first roll, which is the 16. But
Okay,
it's coming
yes.
up with both of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Juno, you're a little lost in all of the hustle and bustle at the moment, but
My
everybody
spouse
else,
has their head on my shoulder and I'm just brushing their hair.
everybody else,
not pretty hair.
by a notable margin, you would see that there's kind of another general group of, like, you could swear that there was a premeditated organization of activity. Like, once the cards got here, Another group of people collapsed on it and started taking things from point A to point B. And you'd see that a group of people is taking the items from your hand carts, and the people in front of you and the people behind you, aka your original carts, out to the outer edge of Blackgate, which does line up with the instruction that you were given from the cultists that Eliseo recognized in your conflict just before coming here.
Can we like point out the window and be like, yeah, that's our stuff. Is that all you need?
I mean, you can.
Because I in character don't fully understand what he was asking. It's just that he asked which stuff was ours. I was like, yeah, that's over there.
I also don't think Juno would have just left her stuff behind at all. She's very attached to her warhammer, so she would have just been like trudging into this little hut with it, and not just like willingly let that go away on a cart.
Yeah, I have been assuming that your like personal belongings is on you guys at all times.
Perfect. I just like suddenly got nervous and was like, no.
I can resummon my bow when I want.
We know.
I could mark the cart if that helps you, so that way you know which one's ours.
Oh no, that won't be necessary. They're gonna be ready for you even before you wake up tomorrow. I like to think I do a good job, eh?
Fair enough.
Well, shall we rest?
Yes, please.
Just here or
He said there was a room attached to this.
Yep. So he's given you a handful of bedrooms in the upper level of this small sort of hut. I'm not zoomed in very well, but there's this small cluster of buildings right here. I do have it highlighted.
Yeah.
And let's do that. Okay, so you're in the larger of the 5 or 6, but that's not saying much. There is a segregation of several bedrooms with like a small, like a bedpost set up for each of you, or if you wanted to share rooms, there you could scoot a bed into from one room into another, that sort of thing. Whatever you guys want. It's a small abode, but it is private enough that between the 5 of you, you could have whatever arrangement you want.
I, as always, in the middle of the night, would like to climb between Eliseo and Juno
Oh my
and say,
gosh.
I had a nightmare.
I finally rolled low enough on one of my intelligence saves, so I end up just kind of babbling myself to sleep, talking about the proper ways of preparing and storing and administering a heretofore unknown and spectacularly deadly poison.
That's kind of terrifying. I might have another nightmare.
This is what I kind of sleep talk myself to sleep with to Juno, apparently.
Yep. And I just sit in the middle of this 3-person deep spoon. And just hold my brother while being held by my spouse. Right before he
Esther just
dozes off in his
passes out
sleep,
immediately.
yes. Right before he dozes off in his sleep, I just whisper, I could have eaten you in the womb. And then I just tuck in.
I was not expecting that.
I mean, he came in and disrupted my sleep with my partner to say, like, oh, I had a nightmare when we're elves and we don't dream. So, it's just a casual reminder that.
My siblings were twins, and one almost did strangle the other in the womb, so that there's a lot of things like that could happen. So.
Oh, yeah. It's very loving, though, because that's the domain I have. It's a very loving domain.
Is the twin eating domain?
No, the loving one.
Okay.
All about comfort.
So we're going into shacking up for the night. Is anybody doing or talking about or wanting to glean more about anything before we do the long rest?
Poisons. That's all I'm talking about.
Juno would want to reach out to her deity about who Corey is, but understanding that they probably won't hear anything back. Just having some nice bedtime prayers.
Okay.
Specifically saying, what the heck? Who is this?
Are you saying this out loud?
No,
Oh, bummer.
this is in trance.
Okay.
But they'll be on alert for the last 4 hours of the night, kind of keeping watch. So trancing the first 4 and then keeping watch the second.
I'll
Okay.
do the opposite like usual.
Ulta will make sure she has fed the actual real creature that she's been trying to take care of, as well as take care of her imaginary creatures. And still start with like the training bits, like the trying to get it to fly and trying to just staying consistent with that.
Okay, so Alta, for a few minutes, you're sort of slunching over and tending to your apparitions as well as the tiny dragon that's in your care at the moment. And until this point, your swarm has sort of tended itself toward your mood. And for the first time, it actually sort of seems to act on its own and shifts to a sort of glitchy state. They like shift from small birds to the kingfishers, and then finally end up on the tiny dinosaurs like velociraptors. And this entire time they've been like circling around you counterclockwise and like glitching into this one image, and then the next, and then the next, and then they finally end up on this one form, and they're just running around you in circles. And at one point, Sunrunner sort of just like hops out of the bag and hops basically into formation with the rest of your spectral figures, and starts up with like chest out, puffed, wings tucked in, and just running with the rest of them. Okay, and then like tries to drop its head and run faster to keep up, and he can't keep up. So then he like puffs his chest out again. He's running on his back legs, can't keep up, and he's sort of being overrun by the specters. Then he starts to hop, and he almost starts to keep pace with that hop. But then, out of a point of what you can tell is almost frustration, just flares his wings out and flaps twice and like catches up with the one in front of him, and then folds it back in and starts running again. Falls behind, flaps his wings out twice, catches up, and actually gets ahead. Folds him in and keeps running. Falls behind again. And he just repeats this process over and over and over and over, tirelessly, for like 20 minutes plus. And doesn't seem to show any signs of exhaustion whatsoever.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. So as he's doing that, Ulta is like going to be low whispering, because I don't want to like scare him. Like little cheers of like, yes, yes, you've got it. Like trying to be as like positive as possible, and just doing the whole positive reinforcement of like, good job, kid. You got it. But not trying to spook him at all.
All right. So every utterance of encouragement on your part seems to sort of coincide with the point that he like flares his wings out. And he catches air for just a second. And then just as he catches up to the little dinosaur figure in front of him, he brings him in and then keeps trying to run. And then you give another verbal input. And he goes again. So it's obvious enough that you don't need to make any sort of rolled check. He's responding to your verbal input as encouragement to go harder, go more, try again, all of that. Everyone else, I completely forgot what you guys were doing. I'm sorry.
Spooning mostly. This was cute. This was worth it. This is so worth it.
Cuddling and terrorizing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
just straight up passing out.
I will check in if they like want to be in the same room just for like security or anything. Like they should feel free to like all be in one room if they want. Otherwise, take your own. Okay, good night. Did you
Okay.
hear about these poisons?
Let's take a mental note / over the table note about the poisons and call it a night. So that's where we're going to end this session. We'll come into our next session in 2 weeks, coming into a fresh day at the edge of Blackgate, which is the point that you were told to pick up the new carts, quote unquote, and keep on to Waterdeep with new adventures and horizons ahead of you. So, Heck, who are you? We're going to do outros, and that's it for tonight.
Sounds good, Chief. Hey guys, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You can find me at Sir Heckalot on Twitter and Instagram and our lovely Discord that you should definitely join. I actually, hopefully tomorrow, will start streaming on my personal channel, playing Grease first, so we'll see how that goes. I'm super excited. I hope it works out. But yeah, that might be happening. So, heck yeah. In terms of where you'll see me on here next, you won't see me until this Sunday with Total Party Recap, along with Turk and Cole, as well as this coming Harper session on Tuesday. Otherwise, just follow me on the things to check me out and see where I'll be next. Moving over to Nif.
Hello, I'm Niffer and I am tired. I am next gonna be here tomorrow because I continue to be around Module Week, and I'll be in our Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign called Hands Warm Hearts. They are super fun there, so come check us out there. And then I'm not gonna be on here again till Top Shelf are playing all sorts of different indie RPGs show on the 29th, so come see that. Also, I'm setting a Jaspers link right now because I'm a Jaspers Game Day Community Ambassador, and they are a wonderful charity that I highly recommend you go check out. They support education and prevention of suicide, and they are active in the tabletop and gaming communities to promote that community and that care of each other. So yeah, go check them out, they're great.
Hiya, I'm Hyacinth, play Icarus, and I will be back, of course, on the show in two weeks Thursday, and then I think the next show I'm in is skipping next week Wednesday, but coming back in 2 weeks. So on Wednesday, June 9th, we'll be back on for the not Singularity, but what comes after Singularity. Still don't know if I'm allowed to say it yet, so
Secret.
I mean, it's on the schedule, so.
yes. Yes. So yeah, then I'm allowed to say it, but Go check the schedule to find out.
And then that brings us to me. I'm Corndog McGraw. I was playing Juno, the cleric, tonight. You can catch me here 2 times next week. Normally, I'm only in module week, but I'm coming to hang out a couple times next week.
Uh-oh.
I will be in the random one-shot on Wednesday, where we don't know our characters, we don't know the world we're living in, we don't know anything about it, we just play and go. Everything is decided on the spot, and it's just going to be some really cool people. A lot of people who you see on the GM side of things will be players again, so that'll be fun to see. I'm also just really excited to be a player with Last HP, who, like, I haven't been a player with since we were both kobolds and we died. So I'm really excited to see what a whole one-shot feels like. And I might be in Harper's on Tuesday. And by might be, I mean I am. So come see me play a completely random character from anything I've ever made before. Just kidding, it's another cleric. Yeah, come hang out.
Awesome.
Hi guys, I'm Chrissy, and I played Ulta the Swarmkeeper Ranger. Where can you find me? All over the TPK Discord. You can also find me every 2 weeks in our Tomb of Annihilation module, Beyond the Undergrowth. In 2 weeks for that game should be interesting. Emphasis on interesting.
Yeah, how are you guys all holding up? Yeah.
That's how
that.
we're doing. Think of Tina from Bob's Burgers, and that's my reaction.
Looking around, shoulders pulled together behind your body.
Gotta talk to a cute boy.
Yeah. Also, you'll obviously find me here every 2 weeks. You will also, Corndog forgot to mention this, but find us in a one-shot with some British friends on Memorial Day. So we will be playing in a one-shot called The Endless Forest.
Yeah, you guys aren't doing anything. It's Memorial Day. You have the day off. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, come hang out. And after that, I don't know, you guys will see me around. I might force Heck to stream It Takes Two with me, which you can find me over at my own personal stream on Twitch as well. So that's that.
All right, and I am that Magic Juice. I am the humble shepherd of this lovely Clouder, and this campaign, I'll focus on this campaign first, is heavily based on the established 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons Tyranny of Dragons campaign. However, I have already strongly hinted at a lot of homebrew to this point, but I will now announce that, like, for real, if you think you know the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, Horde of the Dragon Queen, Rise of Tiamat, you have no idea what's coming up. And that should be a uh-oh to all the players, too. There's going to be a lot of new stuff coming up from the end of Baldur's Gate forward. So, this is going to be fun. You guys are awesome. I am loving working with all of you, and it's going to be an absolute blast from this point forward, if it hasn't been already. So, I do run another campaign on my own channel, which is exactly as you see it on the screen. When it flips to that, the timing wasn't great, but that's okay. I'm running another campaign that's a lot of homebrew and loosely based off of the Princess of the Apocalypse campaign in 5th edition as well. I have some announcements coming in 2 weeks when we run our next session, but it's not related to this campaign, so I'm not going to make too big of a deal about it. And you can find me in our TPK Discord, which has already been linked. And there's a ton of good stuff happening all day, every day at TPK Roleplay. I think that's it for us. So we're going to sign off. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys the next day. We're going to see you guys next week and the week after that and everything in between. Bye-bye.